Gonçalo, rega a mesa, ele come constantemente, é incrível. De manhã à noite, nunca passa o apetite, é insaciável. É verdade, ele engole tortas, bolos, pizzas, massas, batatas fritas e toneladas de arroz. Ele não deixa nada no prato, ele é um verdadeiro ovo, sem dúvida. A família dele está preocupada, mas ele não quer saber. Para ele comer é um verdadeiro prazer. Ele só pensa nisso de manhã à noite, e ele não consegue parar, mesmo que seu estômago doa. Engole tortas, bolos, pizzas, massas, batatas fritas e toneladas de arroz. Ele não deixa nada no prato, ele é um verdadeiro ovo, sem dúvida. Um dia ele vai ao médico porque não se sente bem. O médico diz que ele precisa mudar seus hábitos alimentares. Caso contrário, ele terá sérios problemas de saúde. Engole tortas, bolos, pizzas, massas, batatas fritas e toneladas de arroz. Ele não deixa nada no prato, ele é um verdadeiro ovo, sem dúvida. A família dele está preocupada, mas ele não quer saber. Para ele comer é um verdadeiro prazer. Ele só pensa nisso de manhã à noite, e ele não consegue parar, mesmo que seu estômago doa. Ele engole e vai ao médico porque não se sente bem. O médico diz que ele precisa mudar seus hábitos alimentares. Caso contrário, ele terá sérios problemas de saúde. Gonçalo decide seguir o conselho do médico. Ele começa a comer alimentos saudáveis e balanceados. Ele se sente muito melhor, está mais feliz do que nunca. Ele finalmente entendeu que precisava mudar seus hábitos. Batatas fritas e toneladas de arroz. Ele não deixa nada no prato, ele é um verdadeiro ovo, sem dúvida. Um dia ele vai ao médico porque não se sente bem. O médico diz que ele precisa mudar seus hábitos alimentares. Caso contrário, ele terá sérios problemas de saúde. Gonçalo decide seguir o conselho do médico. Ele começa a comer alimentos saudáveis e balanceados. Ele se sente muito melhor e está mais feliz do que nunca. Ele finalmente entendeu que precisava mudar seus hábitos. Gonçalo, rega a mesa, ele come constantemente, é incrível. De manhã à noite, nunca passa o apetite, é insaciável. É verdade, ele engole tortas, bolos, pizzas, massas, batatas fritas e toneladas de arroz. Ele não deixa nada no prato, ele é um verdadeiro ovo, sem dúvida. A família dele está preocupada, mas ele não quer saber. Para ele comer é um verdadeiro prazer. Ele só pensa nisso de manhã à noite, e ele não consegue parar, mesmo que seu estômago doa. Engole tortas, bolos, pizzas, massas, batatas fritas e toneladas de arroz. Ele não deixa nada no prato, ele é um verdadeiro ovo, sem dúvida. Um dia ele vai ao médico porque não se sente bem. O médico diz que ele precisa mudar seus hábitos alimentares. Caso contrário, ele terá sérios problemas de saúde. Engole tortas, bolos, pizzas, massas, batatas fritas e toneladas de arroz.
Hi guys, welcome back to another live stream. I hope you had an amazing day. So today we are going to be talking about all the updates from the war. Welcome to the Horseshoes, everybody. Welcome. I'm here with Dark. Dark is here as always. What, bro, you can never say hi, bro. You never say hi or anything. Come on, bro. Give me your cue.
Shut up.
It's just hi. It's that hard.
Yes.
But as I was saying, welcome. So as you can see today, we're going to talk about the harsh truth.
Basic weapon grade. Continue.
Before we get into the content though, don't forget to follow me on Kick. We're trying to reach 800 followers. Not only that, we're trying to get fair fights, so don't forget to follow me on Kick. And participate in the stream. For example, watching the stream, talk in the chat, or just drop a sub. So it could be one step closer towards the verification. We do stream at the same time on YouTube as well, so don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Trying to reach 100 subs. We're currently at 87 subscribers, so I'd appreciate it if you help me reach the 100 hit mark. I do post on other social media as well, so don't forget to follow me everywhere and enjoy all the content. And big thank you for your GoTo for the affiliation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I almost forgot. I need to change everything. This thing, because I'm pretty sure if my camera is not at the bottom, we're not going to be able to see some of their faces for some reason. Making sure, guys, making the changes now so I don't have to do the changes in the middle of the fucking stream. I know you guys don't like to see this shit. The fuck did I just hit? No, it's too big, bro. There you go. Now we're gonna lock everything. Everything is locked and it doesn't have to move. So, let's continue. Don't forget to subscribe to Riyadh, an amazing YouTuber that does talk about geopolitics, politics, and all sorts of things. Again, someone that knows how to extract information, connect the dots, and show the proof. It's someone that is very good when it comes to information and when it comes to connecting the dots. Same thing as Myron Gaines. Don't forget to subscribe to his channel as well. Another guy, another person, and he's the brother of Riyadh, by the way. He's his brother. But as I was saying, someone that again knows how to extract all the information, explain to you guys, connect all the dots, and show you guys the proof behind everything. And it's amazing. They're amazing. They're truthful compared to most people that I've seen in the internet. So, as I was saying, let's start with the updates. Not only that, by the way, not only that, we do show also updates when it comes to the oil, since we're in the middle of the war and the oil price is very high. But we're gonna do that towards the middle of the stream. Not gonna do that yet.
Is out of the New York Times, and this reads: Trump rejects latest Iran offer for talks, extending limbo in the Middle Eastern war.
There was a one opportunity of peace right there, and the first thing, bro, the first fucking thing is Trump doesn't care. Trump does not want peace. He wants peace towards his concept.
Side.
Or side, yeah, pretty much. Towards his side. But continues to forget that they are the ones who attacked Iran, but okay.
So this was earlier today around 8:48.
62, yeah.
And it reads, President Trump on Sunday rejected the latest offer from Iran to end the war with the United States, declaring that it was totally unacceptable. And this is where we can find that. If we go to his Truth Social here, he said it earlier today, about 5 hours ago. This is at 4:12. He says, I have just read the response from Iran's so-called representatives. I don't like it. Totally unacceptable. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And don't worry, we're not getting distracted from the article here, but I want to show you what Iran was asking for. This is from Riram Navaram on Twitter, but I was seeing this across news as well. And this is from Tasneem News. This here says Iran's response and the things that they were asking for is immediate end to the war on all fronts with strong guarantees against future attacks on Iran, lifting all of the U.S. sanctions on Iran, including Iran's oil exports market, ending the U.S. naval blockade, release of all frozen assets belonging to Iran, Iran's right to manage the Strait of Hormuz. And again, we looked at the Trump post here, and he says it's totally unacceptable. Continues on to go.
That's so
Mr.
dumb.
Trump commented hours after the Iranian government said it had sent counter-proposal to end the conflict following a tense week of attacks and responses in the Persian Gulf that rattled a fragile ceasefire between the countries. The detail of Iran's proposal were not made public and
I almost forgot to warn you guys as well. We got talked about feminism as well, by the way. It's not just war. Updates on the war. It's also feminism, like always.
Mr. Trump did not say what was objectionable. I have read the response from Iran's so-called representatives, he wrote in a post on his social media platform. I don't like it. Mr. Trump's rejection extended the latest standoff in the effort to end the war and cast doubt on whether the stalemate would be broken anytime soon. The president, however, has shown little appetite for resuming hostilities. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, he just did Operation Freedom to provoke them. But anyways, particularly before he meets this week in Beijing with President Xi Jinping of China, whose country maintains close ties with Iran. The United States and Israel began coordinated strikes on Iran on February 28th, and Iran responded with attacks on Israel and neighboring Arab countries allied with the United States. Iran also closed off the Strait of Hormuz, the gateway to a fifth of the world's oil supply. Mr. Trump declared an indefinite ceasefire last month and told Congress that hostilities between the two countries had been terminated. Though they have continued their tense face-off in the Strait, some Gulf countries have also reported drone attacks from Iran in recent days. And this morning, I believe, Kuwait had to administer air defense because they had some drones in their airspace. Keeps going to read, Mr. Trump has maintained that the United States has met its military objectives in joining the bombardment with Israel in February, but his ultimate goal of the war, preventing Iran from ever obtaining a nuclear weapon, remains unfulfilled. And not even the fact that it remains unfulfilled, he flat out failed. And Netanyahu had said in the beginning, I remember I showed this clip, I'm not going to be able to find it now, but take my word for it. He said, in order for us to reach our goals in Iran in regards to the enriched uranium, the highly enriched 60% uranium, we are going to have some sort of ground element. That's what he said verbatim. And I don't know if it was the case that they weren't parallel in their ways of going about actually reaching that goal, that being Trump and Netanyahu, but obviously Netanyahu sold Trump on the idea of going to war. And we know that because after the strikes on the 28th, tons of news came out and surfaced from maybe White House officials, but all of these mainstream press outlets like the Wall Street Journal and New York Times, that Trump's intelligence told him Iran doesn't have a nuke and they're not about to make one anytime soon, not as we're watching them now. And Tulsi Gabbard said this last year, and everybody knows this. The intelligence community always said this, but of course he still started the war on that false pretext.
So dumb.
And so what Trump was thinking, I don't know. What the plan was, I don't know. That's why everybody who was talking about the war when it first started was very confident there would be a boots on ground invasion, not because that's how war works and everything like that. No, because of the fact that we know what the goals are of Israel and the president. It's to seize this uranium, which is a very lengthy, long-winded, difficult process to actually achieve your goals in. So that didn't happen. Now, an F-15 fighter jet was shot out of the air earlier last month, actually, while we're in May. Time is flying. And a lot of people speculated that that was a failed operation for ground forces to seize uranium or something like that. My brother did a good video on it, and you can go check that out. Just
I don't think it was that F-15 was for the uranium, but it just makes no sense.
Damn actions.
It makes no sense. There's too much uranium. An F-15, it's not enough. I'm like, what?
The goddamn actions.
There's no way it was an F-15 doing that fucking operation. Maybe it was to scout where they are. I would agree with that. Maybe it was a scout. You just scout exactly where the uranium was. But apart from that, I don't believe it was. I don't believe it was an F-15, bro. The F-15 is going to do that shit. It just makes no sense. At least to me. To me, it made no sense. Let's get in.
Fighter jet Myron Gaines. It should come up on YouTube so you can get the details on that situation. But ultimately, we have not really launched any sort of ground presence to get that uranium, and that's because there's about 250,000 armed guards belonging to the IRGC on the ground ready for us and waiting. And this is what the foreign minister said in an interview. I forget, I think it was with 60 Minutes or somebody else, I don't remember, but the foreign minister had an interview at the beginning of this war, Abbas Araghchi, and they asked him, you know, what if the United States invades on the ground? And he said, well, we're waiting for them and we're very ready for that. And that's real. They are. And of course, we know that. MAGA knows that. Everybody in the world knows that. The casualty rate would skyrocket You know, there's only a few U.S. casualties as this war has been dragging on for 70 plus days. There's probably a little bit more than the United States is willing to admit for obvious reasons. However, again, if there's a ground element, that number will skyrocket and it will be catastrophic. And by the way, the approval rating for the war will plummet. It's already not so good, especially with younger people. But you can bet that it'd be a whole lot lower if U.S. personnel just start dying in the large numbers of the masses. This is what's happened in Iraq. This is what's happened in Afghanistan. But I've always said this war, wow, we got to finish the article here. This war is so much worse than the previous ones, than the Iraq war, than all of the Gulf conflicts that we've been in. And the reason why is because Iran is actually a formidable foe. And so by starting this war, we effectively poked the bear. We charged them up to, if they were planning on making a nuclear weapon, now they're set on making one. Now they know they have to make one, right? If they were kind of flirting with the idea, now it's no longer flirtation. It's we must do this for our own security, for our guarantee of self-determinations, for our sovereignty. And, you know, it could have been the situation that Donald Trump conceded and just had some diplomacy rang out with Iran, and Oman offered him the opportunity to do this earlier in his administration. He rejected it, and he had the Obama nuclear plan set out for him on his table in the Oval Office. He tarnished it. He absolutely pulled out of the deal,
which
and
it
then
was
started
done,
the war back up, at least a Cold War with Iran for like 4 or 5 years before we actually started killing their leaders. In 2018, he tarnished the JCPOA, or the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. And then 2020, 2024, and several years after that, we killed several leaders that were a part of Iran's proxy network or their axis of resistance. And so, you know, this is why me and my brother always say the whole nuclear excuse is so silly, because this was addressed in its entirety and it was taken care of. You know, so to pull out of a deal that could have been the first step to them completely eradicating their nuclear program and enriching uranium as a whole shows that there was a greater goal at purpose. What is that goal? Regime change. Obviously, the goal of Netanyahu is to have an Israeli favored leader in Iran. That way Israel can get what they want. Maybe that means they control the Strait of Hormuz. And if Israel controls the Strait of Hormuz, that's even more of a reason for them not to need the United States economically. I mean, think about it. If Israel controlled the Strait of Hormuz, if they were tolling ships instead of Iran, if they completely overthrew the Iranian regime and had a leader there that would share the money that they're making from tolling these ships and make it official on a global stage, well then the leniency, or really the leaning upon US for financial support, would certainly shrink to the point where maybe they wouldn't need us anymore. I don't know if that's actually going to happen. I'm just saying maybe that's a plan. That's speculation, but they don't want Iran there because of the fact that they can make money on that strait. But ultimately, the main reason that everybody knows this is because Iran has the ballistic missiles program that's very dangerous to Israel. Mid-range missiles that are, many of them hypersonic, they can use them whenever they want. There's no real air defense system that can stop these missiles. We saw that in the 12-day war back in the summer. We saw that with the bombing campaign, or the back and forth bombing back in April. And they also have the nuclear program, but they also have the proxy network, and that's also a big threat to Israel. They fund and they prop up Hezbollah, which is in southern Lebanon, right on the border of northern Israel. And then they also supported Hamas during the conflict for 28 months, the Israel-Hamas war. That's still kind of ongoing in some way. And they partially funded the Houthis in Yemen, and then they also funded Iraqi proxy groups. And so, you know, or militant groups. And so for Israel, the main issue is Iran. If they can get them out the way, they've got the regions to themselves. You know, they're home base, they're chilling. Iran is the last leg standing of
Yo, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream. Welcome.
Any sort of resistance. And you got to go all the way back to the 40s and the 50s.
They'll update when it comes to the
Arab leaders that opposed Israel. I talked about this last night.
We're going to talk about another subject later on.
You had Ghulam Abdel Nasser, who was the Egyptian pan-Arab nationalist leader who opposed Israel. That's why Israel sided with the French. There was so much more resistance from Arab countries prior in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, but as time went on, the U.S. support ensured it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna say this before we get this question. Why do I use other people's content when it comes to war? Simple. People here in Europe don't care. This is what I'm telling you guys. They don't give a shit. They don't care about this war. But I'm the type of person that I see that people need to know. They need to know the truth. And the best people to talk about the truth is Riyadh and Myron Gaines. They're the best ones, let's be honest. The truth, they say, even if it hurts or it doesn't, they still tell the truth. So I do these streams. So here in Europe, at least. Where in Europe are you from? I'm from Portugal, but I do live in Belgium. So, unfortunately, I'm in the center of everything when it comes to the Jews, which sucks. I hate being here. I don't like the country, but it is what it is. But yeah, I want people here from Europe to be, you know, be with this knowledge when it comes to the truth and the what's going on in the war. We're from Pakistan. We suffer firehand from imperialism. Oh damn!
Holy shit.
Damn. Well, that's not good. I have to be honest. That's not good. But honestly, if you want me to be honest, at least you're not in Israel, bro. Bro, it's fucking horrible. I have to be honest, bro. I know that imperialism is not good. At least for me, I don't think imperialism is good. I think democracy is the best thing ever. But let's be honest, democracy doesn't really exist at this point. If we look at how things are going and the fact that the Jews control the west of the world, Europe, America, they're trying to control the Middle East, and so it goes on. Like, shh. Democracy is... the vision of democracy is good. The problem is the execution. We don't see any democracy here. None. Not even one. That's what I see. It's more like the vision of democracy. It sounds good on paper, but when we practice it, it just doesn't look good. I mean, Europe is literally the proof of it, and America. America should be also democracy and capitalism and stuff like that. So it should also be the proof of it, but in the end, it's just the opposite. But yeah, here in Europe, I'm just telling you, we don't really care about the war. We really don't really care. We just want us to be with our own bubble and not be part of anything. But you know, we don't recognize us. Hey, goods, don't recognize Israel, bro. Good. Fuck them Jews, bro. Fuck them. It's always them, bro. Somehow it's always them causing the problems and causing all this stupidity going on in the world. It's always them. So yeah, thank God. So thankfully the war in Iran, it went up in Pakistan too. We're trying the whole thing peace talks. Country lockdown. There's a chance to peace. If there's a chance for, I don't think there's gonna be a chance to peace, bro. I don't think so. Like, I'm trying to respond to your previous question, by the way. Yeah, no, Europeans only care about war when it comes to immigration. I mean, when it comes to that, honestly, this is how I view things. The ones that are shooting with the pistol, the ones that's holding the gun is Israel. The gun is America, and the silencer is Europe. So Europe, we do complain about immigration and immigrants. I do agree with you. I do agree. I'm not saying otherwise. We do complain a lot about immigrants because there's too many immigrants at this point. Let's be honest. Like, I'm in Portugal. It doesn't look like I'm in Portugal. I have to be honest, bro. I have to be honest here. I go to Portugal. It doesn't feel like Portugal anymore. I see a bunch of Indians, a bunch of Chinese people. Like, I'm not against it. Okay, I'm not against those peeps, but. You know, European culture is disappearing. That's the problem. The problem is the European culture is fucking disappearing, and it's a problem. That's the problem. So, but this is why I come and I do these streams, because I show the people here in Europe that the problem is not the Muslims, it's not the immigrants, I would say. It's more like Israel, because Israel, if they never went to war with the whole Middle East, we never had these problems with immigration and the chaos that we have right now in the Middle East. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to show people that the real problem is more like Israel. in Zionism, because if that problem, and the question of Palestine, if that question is answered and that problem solved, the Muslim people and all the immigrants can go back to their countries in the Middle East. Peace would appear. People could go back to their lands, back to their respectable countries, and be happily ever after in their land with their culture, where they feel at home. So that's how I view things, is that Israel is actually the fucking problem. Which is sad to say it, because I do see Jew people that are actually against Israel and what they're doing. They clearly show that they're not Zionists. But the problem is the fact that there's a majority of Zionism and Zionists, it's not good. It's bad for the world. Clearly it's bad. They just do too much dumb shit. Yeah, I agree. No one wants to leave their car home, but they gotta go. They gotta do what they gotta do. Yeah, true. I agree with you. They gotta do what they can to survive. I understand. Israel is messing up the whole world, messing shit up for everyone. Oh yeah, 100%. 100%, bro. 100% they're messing up for things for everyone. 100%. But it's not. It doesn't come from just from right now. It came from. It really comes from for years and years ago. It comes from years ago, when Muslims used to go to war with Jews. Like, it comes from years ago, where they would live together, and for some reason the Jews would backstab, and then shit would go down, and then they get fucking kicked out of the country or the territory. They've been like this for years, and from what I've noticed is that the Jews, from what I can see how things are going, I think they're very pissed at everyone in the world, and they're just getting their revenge for being kicked out and never having a way to live or a territory to live where they can do their shit. That's what I see. I see that they are trying to have revenge on the world. That's what I see. I see that the Jews are they have so much hate that they want revenge on the world. That's the logic that I've seen after all the things that happened until now. Is they want revenge. That's the only thing I see, is they want the revenge. Because for years they've been kicked out from many countries, but with good reasons, of course, because what they practice is fucking outrageous. It's bad. It's very bad. What they practice, bro. I've seen clips where they give you one sentence of the book that they follow and they read in their religion. I look at that shit and I see one sentence, and I already don't want to continue. It's fucking horrible. I feel shamed the fact that we managed to let these people have so much control and so much power. During my Islamic class, I learned that to be Jew in Medina when the Prophet came to the world. Oh yeah. I've heard one of the stories that in the Middle East, as one story that was told. Who told that story? It was Sneeko. Sneeko told that story. I remember I watched one of the Sneeko streams, and he talked about the two Asian populations when they used to be together in a territory, and then the Jews for some reason decided to backstab, and then they went to full-on war. Like, I don't understand why the Jews always do this shit. They always do this. I'm Muslim, by the way. You can ask me anything if you want any questions. Well, I'm Christian. I mean, I'm from Portugal. It can make sense. But like, for me, like, I have no problem with Muslims. I think they're my brother. They're my brothers. I say that because we believe in the religion that is correct, and we have to follow it correctly. You know, in that sense. Now, of course, I would probably imagine that everyone follows Muhammad and we follow Jesus. Again, everyone has their beliefs, and so goes on. I don't want to force my Christianity on other people. It makes no sense. You have to love Christianity out of love, and there's no point forcing on other people. If you're forcing things on other people, that's not the way of the Christian way. It's not the Christian way. That's all I say, you know. But when it comes to this shit, the thing that pisses me off the most when it comes to my religion is the fact that Israel for years have shown that they didn't give a shit about our religion, or any other religion. They crap on everyone. But for some odd fucking reason, we Christians, for some reason decide to be in their side. It pisses me off, bro, seeing that shit. It pisses me off. I see America siding with Israel and I'm like, fam, you're a Christian country. You're a Christian country. Why the fuck are you siding with a country that hates you or hates your religion? It just makes no sense. Like, for example, China. China doesn't crap in on religion, but that doesn't mean we need to be aligned with them, you know? But I'm sorry, Israel craps in our religion, and we are saying we're being in the same side? What, bro? But when it comes to Muslim, I do believe they are our brothers. I do believe that Jesus is gonna come, unite all the Muslim countries, and finally stop the evil demons. I do believe he's gonna come back, not just for the Muslims' sake, because it's your territory in the Middle East, but I'd say to the whole world. We need him to come back and actually stop this fucking shit. It's getting out of hand. It's most important the American Christians. Their Christianity is corrupted beyond repair. I agree, but at the same time, I agree with you, but at the same time, I think like this. It's also not their fault. And when I say it's not their fault, I mean, the problem is there's a lot of Jews there. There's a lot of Zionism propaganda, and it just fucks the whole country, fucks everything. I mean, just America, by the way, just America. They control the media, they control the banking system, they control politics, they control medicine, they control the food, they control the drinking market. They control so much stuff in America that I understand why they have to follow through. Like, I understand. That's why I say it's not really their fault, because if you don't follow through, you're pretty much you're gonna be wiped off the earth if you don't follow through. I mean, there's some people that don't follow through, they are not wiped off the earth. For example, Riyadh, as we are reacting to him today, and Myron Gaines, and more other people, of course. They're not the only ones. But it's their fault still. I'm not saying that it's not their fault. It is their fault, but at the same time, you need to understand that it's the Zionism power and influence that they have over America that is making them do what they do. Because how's it called? I have to see. How's he called? I forgot. This guy. That president right there. The best president ever of America. The best one. I say he's the best one as well. I say he's the best one. Because he was against Israel and the propaganda and all the dumb shit that Israel and the Jews were trying to do. Like, he was the only one able to put a foot down and not let the Jews step over the line, you know? He was the only one who put a limit and not let the Israelis and the Zionism do dumb shit. So that's why I say the problem is they have so much power that at this point they have to follow.
Nouveau Gillette Labs Body. It's
sad. It's sad to say it. It is sad to say it. God damn it, I don't want ads, please. Okay, let me... Wait a second. I'll read your messages in a sec. I'm just...
This here...
Okay, we were like... Yeah, we were right here. We'll keep it stopped, though. Let me see. He's gonna come for peace. God loves peace. The worst part is shit been going on for decades. Oh yeah. Israel planned all this shit since the 1970s, bro. Since the 1970s, he literally said that he was ready to go to war with the whole Middle East. They wanted to create the promised land for years from the 1970s, bro. As soon as Israel became an actual state and a country, they immediately said that they were going to war in the 1970s. They immediately said they were going to war to the whole Middle East. Yeah, they're literally the ones that said it. But they're going for the Americans just only figured out how to control them after the Gaza suicide. True. They only just figured out after Gaza, which, by the way, it was unacceptable. Fucking unacceptable. Unfucking acceptable. But it's good that our generation opened their eyes. It's good. Finally, because the old generation were fucking retards. Like, let's be honest, they're fucking retards. They only cared about themselves and their work, and they're dumb as shit. They never opened their eyes towards the truth. They only believed in what was in TV. At the same time, I understand the only media was really TV and like journalism. These days we have alternatives like YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and so goes on. We have alternative media where we can find out the truth and like seek information beyond just journalism and TV, the main media, which it's good. It's very good. I do love that. But as I was saying, Israel for years, they wanted to go to war and seek revenge on the whole Middle East because they were never accepted and they wanted revenge. It's very obvious what's going on over there. It's very obvious. And then not only that, they have people in the government that are straight fucking full-on Zionism. Like extreme Zionism. So it's very difficult. Very difficult, unfortunately. Because I've seen Jews, they're actually against this. I've seen Jews, literally, they're not good with this. This is not good. And they don't believe that Israel is they're the Jew way. It's not the Jew way. It's the Zionism way. I've seen it. But unfortunately, Zionism and all the power positions that they have and the influence that they have over the world, it's too big. And we let that happen. One person, Mr. Mustache Man, which is, I cannot say the name because I get banned probably. Mr. Mustache Man from Germany that did what he did in World War II was the one who predicted all of this to come to fruition. He was the one who knew that all of this was coming in the future, and he was trying to stop Zionism to flourish. Even Benjamin Netanyahu admitted himself that that Mr. Mustache Man from Germany, that famous Autriche painter, didn't want to kill the Jews. He wanted to expel the Jews from Germany, that's it. But the Jews, of course, the propaganda, and probably they are the ones actually starting the World War II war. So Germany would fall. But, you know, again, that's just a theory. You don't have a lot of information to confirm that, but yeah, let's keep going. The Muslim Ottomans give them refuge when they were kicked out of the... I know. I knew about that. So that's why I'm like, you Muslims give them a home, and for some reason they backstab. It's something that I'm never going to understand why the Jews do that. They love to backstab, or they love to fuck other people so they can have whatever they want. It's like a sick... They're sick-minded. I don't understand why they're so sick-minded. I mean, their religion and what they believe in, we understand why they're sick-minded. But it's like they don't have like not even one piece of intelligence saying, whoa. What we read and what we learn in our religion is not good. They have no common sense. They just follow orders and they do dumb shit. It's just inherent hate for us. Oh, it's not just you, my friend. It's everyone at this point. It's not just you. The fact that they control Europe, they control America, they control pretty much half of the world. I don't think it's just hate. I'd say they hate you guys the most, probably, for sure, for sure. But I would say that you are not the only ones they hate. They also hate Christians and everyone else, because remember in their book they say that if you're not Jew, you're their enemy. So they hate all of us. They hate all of us. We are all their enemies. So I would say they're more like they tolerate us, and that's it. They just tolerate us. But I'd say, yeah, 100%, they hate us the most. They hate us. I mean, they hate you Muslims for some reason the most. I asked a streamer to go on Israel Omegle. Israel Omegle, bro? And he connected with an IDF soldier. Bro, on Omegle? Bro, you're telling me that an IDF soldier has time to go to Omegle? Excuse me? So, what? The guy said Palestinians are a joke and he admitted to killing people. Oh yeah, so the previous stream when we talk about the harsh truth, if you want to watch it on YouTube, I do have a playlist with all the harsh truth streams. In Riyadh, this guy literally explained that in Palestine they hang people, kill people for fun, and they throw parties where they hang Palestinians, they rape Palestinians. I saw and heard that shit. I just couldn't believe how they are not getting punished and they're not getting sanctions on them from doing these horrible fucking things that they're doing. Not just because they're Palestinians, but just to human lives in general. Because they're not just doing it for Palestinians. They're doing it everywhere. They're doing it in Lebanon. They do this shit everywhere. And it's fucking obnoxious. The fact that, and shameful to us, shameful to all of us, because we have, together in the west of the world, we have more power. And somehow we're not punishing these people doing these horrible things. Shame. Shame. They should be ashamed, but what can we do? Omen TV, you should try it. You might connect with some. No, I don't. I'm not trying to get banned, bro. I'm not trying to get banned. Bro. No, it's a good idea, though. It's a good idea. I gave you that. It's a good idea. It'd be very entertaining. I gave you that. It's good content. But I probably would get banned because, you know, I don't. Can you show? Can you show that? Because I know if you show content or just any content when it comes to Israel, you get imprisoned, right? I mean, I've seen people post and talk about it everywhere, and that doesn't look like they've been, you know, they've had problems. They've been warned. That yes, but they don't have problems. But I just want to give the news and the truth, where Israel is 100% the bad people. Like, Zionism, 100%. The governments are infested with Zionists. Yeah, 100%. I think Spain is the only one sucking. Honestly, props to Spain. 100% props to Spain. Props to Spain, bro. I'm not sure about Europe, but I don't think you'll get banned on Kick. Kick, I know I'm not gonna get banned. The problem is YouTube. The problem is YouTube. Probably I'll get banned on YouTube. Like, they have no problem me talking about the truth and stuff like that, but I'm pretty sure when I go into deep things, it's not good. I say that because I posted a clip, I think it was 2 weeks ago, where Myron Gaines showed that Jew Zionists have different, how can I say this, buildings in countries. For example, they have in America, in Brussels, here in Belgium, and so goes on, where there's people, all Zionists, working and doing propaganda, doing all that shit. And I posted about it, a clip of that sit stream about talking about that a little bit. Bro, that clip was gone. That clip, I got a warning, bro. In the minute, I got a warning. So it's unfortunate, but yeah, like I know that on Kick I'm not banned. I know I'm not gonna get banned as long as I don't. YouTube is Zionist. Oh yeah, 100%. YouTube is owned by Zionists. I mean, it's a. Who would have guessed? I mean, it used to be American, but they were bought by the Jews. TikTok, same thing. Instagram, Facebook, same thing. I even say Twitter, X. I don't like calling it X, but it's Twitter. Even Twitter is Zionist. Even though it's owned by Elon Musk, I do think that it's Zionist. Because they say freedom of speech, but if you talk about dumb shit, you get banned. So, like, all the social media, unfortunately, I mean, because of Trump being the president, we have more freedom. We have more freedom when it comes to speech and on the social media, which is good. Which is good, but they have a limit still. They still have a limit to get things out of hand. Oh yeah, 100%. Zionist he's a Zionist. 100%. Elon Musk is a Zionist. 100%, bro. But let's continue.
But obviously, Netanyahu sold Trump on the idea of going to war, and we know that because after the strikes on the 28th, tons of news came out and surfaced from maybe White House officials, but all of these mainstream press outlets like the Wall Street Journal and New York Times, that Trump's intelligence told him Iran doesn't have a nuke and they're not about to make one anytime soon, not as we're watching them now. And Tulsi Gabbard said this last year, and everybody knows this. The intelligence community always said this, but of course he still started the war on that false pretext. And so what Trump was thinking, I don't know. What the plan was, I don't know. That's why everybody who was talking about the war when it first started was very confident there would be a boots on ground invasion, not because that's how war works.
There's no way they're gonna put boots on the ground. They put boots on ground, they're gonna have bloodshed everywhere. Bro, they struggled in Iraq for so long, and it was the mountain areas. Imagine Iran, bro. It's 10 times Iraq. And they have 10 times more rocky areas and mountains. You have no adventures whatsoever. No adventures whatsoever, bro. They go there, there's gonna be a bloodshed. And like 10 times worse bloodshed than it was in Iraq. If they end up doing boots on ground, it's the dumbest fucking decision I've ever gonna see. But if they want to do the regime change, is the only way. That's what's risky. Is the thing is, it's the only way to have the regime change for Iran is boots on ground. But if they do so, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be very, very, very bad. But I mean, we know. I don't think they're gonna do it. If they do it, it's Trump is never gonna become president. Let's be honest again. Or in MAGA, or I forgot how it's called. Is it MAGA or whatever it's called? It's gonna be in the shit position. They left Afghanistan to the Taliban. Now Pakistan has a terrorism problem again. I grew up in terrorist infection back then and saw a lot of my family members and friends die. Sorry for your loss, friend. Sorry for your loss. Especially in the 2004 APS school massacre, since they left shit with the fan. Yeah, but that's the problem. They left, but the thing is, the problem with them leaving and like doing the war is doing all that shit is, or they did a regime change. They put a president that is a Zionist American to control the country, or they just left the country to rot. That's what they did pretty much to the whole Middle East. It's horrible. It's fucking horrible. It's very fucking horrible. I'm sorry, bro, for your loss. For I'm not American, but I'm a Christian, and as a Christian, I'm sorry for the dumb shit that we've done. We are fucking retarded. I'm sorry for the sake of the good Christians that are actually against this shit, because Americans are fucking dumb, bro. They want to be the global police force, but the problem with it is they don't understand that if they try to become the global police force, it's a problem. And this is where I gave this. This is where I'm gonna give this example. Everyone have seen Injustice. Injustice, that the game where Superman loses Lois, loses Metropolis, and becomes a tyrant, controls the whole world, tries to become the police force of the world. It's exactly the same example that is going on right now. It's exactly the way what we have. Exactly. It's like we have this Superman that is America. They have all the power. They're like the strongest in the world, the strongest American superpower. And then they have those little Jews in Trump's ear saying, "Go to war, go to war, do this, do that." And in the film, if people saw the Injustice film, the one that does that shit, that speaks in the ears and tries to provoke said person to do the dumb shit, it's Wonder Woman. So it's like, it's very funny. I say Injustice is a good example because it's pretty much what's going on. We have the superpower Superman who lost everything, and then we have Wonder Woman that keeps saying dumb shit and convincing Superman to do dumb shit and killing people and becoming a tyrant. That's pretty much what's going on right now. America has this strong superpower. They're Superman. They're trying to be the police, the global police force, which it's stupid. They should not do that. They're touching on everything. They are getting into so many problems to the point where the whole world hates America. America is in the worst position ever. And that's where I compare America as the fallen Roman Empire. But that's another thing. And then the Wonder Woman is the Jew Zionist Israel saying, continue doing the dumb shit that we do. But at the end, we're gonna realize that Superman is gonna fall, and the one that's gonna control everything is Wonder Woman. And Wonder Woman, again, it's Israel and Zionists. It's like, it's just so dumb. So dumb. And nobody's punishing them. That's what pisses me off the most. Nobody punishes them. But it is what it is. I hope that we can get to peace. I hope that Iran gets what they want, if I have to be honest. I say that because America and Israel are the ones who attacked first Iran, so it kind of makes sense why they have the demands that they have. Since they've been attacked on. They've had all the sanctions on them. They've been attacked on. They've had the worst things you can ever have for a country. So it's kind of understandable why they have the demands that they have. But when it comes to the side of America, they have these horrible demands. It's outrageous, even though they're the ones that are attacked. The fight because of they're the ones that attacked. It makes no sense. But you know, it is what it is. Let's hope we find peace. If we don't, probably Iran will fall because again they're fighting America and Israel. They're probably gonna fall, but I think they're gonna make sure that the whole Middle East goes down with them. The Jews and Israel are gonna be able to control the Middle East. They're gonna create the Promised Land, create the third temple of the Antichrist. That's probably what's gonna happen. And then as soon as they do that, we're going to a religious war. Jesus is gonna come. Boom, unite everyone. Fuck these Jews. Fuck these demons. Boom, peace. That's my prediction. I've done this prediction like a month ago, but I do believe this is going to happen. Because how things are going, it's the theory, and the things that make more sense. They are the only things that make more sense, at least. It's what I predict.
Works and everything like that.
But,
no,
you know,
because of the fact that we know what the goals are of Israel and the president is to seize this uranium, which is a very lengthy, long-winded, difficult process to actually achieve your goals in. So that didn't happen. Now, an F-15 fighter jet was shot out of the air earlier last month, actually, while we're in May. Time is flying. And a lot of people speculated that was
4
a
months into
failed
war.
operation for...
4 months into war, and they said they're gonna take 4 days to win the war. They said they're gonna take 4 days. Iran proved that they're a big dog.
Ground forces to seize uranium or something like that. My brother did a good video on it, and you can go check that out. Just type in F-15 fighter jet Myron Gaines.
It's funny.
It should come up on YouTube, so you can get the details on that situation. But ultimately, we have not really launched any sort of ground presence to get that uranium, and that's because there's about 250,000 armed guards belonging to the IRGC on the ground.
Okay,
ready
we've seen this. We're gonna skip
Abbas
a bit.
Arakchi, and they asked him, you know, what if the United States invades on the ground? And he said, well, we're waiting for them, and we're very ready for that.
There you go.
And that's real.
Remember.
They are. And of course, we know that. MAGA knows that.
Everyone knows that.
Everybody in the
Oh,
world
there you go,
knows
MAGA.
that.
There you go. That's how it's called.
The casualty rate
What a
would
shit
skyrocket.
name, let's be honest.
You know, there's only a few U.S. casualties as this war has been dragging on for 70 plus days. It's probably a little bit more than the United States is willing to admit for obvious reasons. However, again, if there's a ground element, that number will skyrocket and it will be catastrophic. And by the way, the approval rating for the war will plummet. It's already not so good, especially with younger people, but you can bet that it'd be a whole lot lower if U.S. personnel just start dying in the large numbers of the masses. This is what's happened in Iraq. This is what's happened in Afghanistan. But I've always said this war, wow, we got to finish the article here. This war is so much worse than the previous ones, than the Iraq war, than all of the Gulf conflicts that we've been in.
This one's the worst
one. And the reason
one,
why is because Iran is actually a formidable foe.
Yeah, they're harder
by starting
to
this war, we
penetrate than they
poked
thought.
the bear. We charged them up to, if they were planning on making a nuclear weapon, now they're set on making one. Now they know they have to make one.
And the only thing I'm going to say is this. Even though I always going to say that having a nuke is bad, but honestly, Iran, make your nuke. Make your fucking nuke. You need to make a nuke. Not to use it, but to have it in the palm of your hands. Because, bro, shit is going out of control because I have too much power. If a Muslim country ends up having a nuke, honestly, it's good. It's going to be a good protection for all of you guys in the Middle East. Because then you become a real threat, and if they try to do dumb shit like they're doing right now, they're going to suffer with the real consequences. Let's be honest. But what pisses me off is why the fuck they keep going to the Middle East because of nukes. South Korea have nukes. They go over there. India has nukes. They don't go over there. France has nukes. They don't go over there. It's something that I don't understand. It's literally just because if Muslims have nukes, it's literally because of Muslims. But if you're not a Muslim, no problem. You can have nukes. You can have everything. But it's stupid. It makes no sense. Because there's so many countries that have nukes and they don't go to invade. It's just stupid. But you know. Well, I mean, you know.
Right. They were kind of flirting with the idea.
Stupid.
Now it's no longer flirtation. It's we must
Yeah.
do this for our own security, for our guarantee of self-determination.
You know what's even worse is Israel has illegal nukes and an illegal nuclear section to create these nukes, and nobody cares. There's no fucking control. There's no people going there to make sure that they have nukes to confirm so it can be in the list. Nothing. They have illegal nukes. Nobody talks about it. And if they want to use one, they can just use one. It's fucking outrageous. That's what pisses me. That's even worse. That makes the matter even worse. The fact that they're the ones saying, "Oh, Iran has nukes, uranium." Bro, you're literally fighting with a country that has illegal nukes that stole from your country. Like, you cannot make shit up. You just can't. Bruh. But yeah. And the whole world sees this. Everyone has condemned Israel from their stupidity in what they're doing. So, I mean, they get what they deserve, bro. They really thought that everyone was going to be with Israel. No. My generation, Let's be honest. My generation is fucking retarded. Let's be honest. We are not go-getters. We don't want to work. But one thing that is good from us is we found out the truth and we don't hate the lies. We hate it. It's something that it's good for us. It's good from our generation is we go towards the truth and we understand who's the real problem or not. That's something that it's good for our generation, in my generation. But when it comes to the reality in generality of things, we are fucking stupid and worse. And it's very bad. We're very bad. We need to work on that shit, but you know. Unfortunately, we have what we have.
Or sovereignty.
Unfortunately.
And, you know, it could have been the
because I see a big potential in our generation, but we just don't want to do anything.
Had some diplomacy ring out with Iran, and Oman offered him the opportunity to do this earlier in his administration. He rejected it, and he had the Obama nuclear plan set out for him on his table in the Oval Office. He tarnished it. He absolutely pulled out of the deal and then started the war back up, at least a Cold War with Iran, for like 4 or 5 years before we actually started killing their leaders. In 2018, he tarnished the JCPOA, or the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. And then 2020, 2024, and several years after that, we killed several leaders that were a part of Iran's proxy network or their axis of resistance. And so, you know, this is why me and my brother always say the whole nuclear excuse is so silly, because this was addressed in its entirety. And it was taken care of. You know, so to pull out of a deal that could have been the first step to them completely eradicating their nuclear program.
They were never going to do a nuke.
And enriching uranium as a whole shows that there was a...
Their leader literally said it was haram to build a nuke because the civilians are the ones who are going to get the consequences. He said it in public. And not just in public. He said it with people that would go into Iran to do a control check for the uranium and everything that is nuclear, and he said to them that it would be haram to create a nuke. This is another thing that is fucking how this war is fucking stupid. It's another reason why this war is stupid.
Greater goal, that purpose. What does that goal? Regime change. Obviously, the goal of Netanyahu is to have an Israeli-favored leader in Iran.
That's the main goal that they're trying to get.
They want. Maybe that means they control the Strait of Hormuz, and if it...
Hey, bro. That's all I'm gonna say. If they beat, they're probably gonna beat Iran. But if they beat Iran, they're gonna be able to have control of Iran and the Strait of Hormuz. The world's cooked. I'm telling you already, the world's cooked. As soon as they win against Iran and they get control of Iran and they control the Strait of Hormuz, they're gonna be able to create the Promised Land and the third temple of the Antichrist. It's fucking over, bro. Bro, that shows you the confirmation that we are in the chapter of the apocalypse. When it comes to the Bible, that's the biggest confirmation of them all. The biggest confirmation. But let's hope that doesn't happen.
Israel controls the Strait of Hormuz. That's even more of a reason for them not to need the United States economically. I mean, think about it. If Israel controlled the Strait of Hormuz, if they were tolling ships instead of Iran, if they completely overthrew the Iranian regime and had a leader there that would share the money that they're making from tolling these ships and make it official on a global stage, well then the leniency, or really the leaning upon US for financial support, would certainly shrink to the point where maybe they wouldn't need us anymore. I don't know if that's actually going to happen. I'm just saying maybe that's a plan. That's speculation, but they don't want Iran there because of the fact that they can make money on that strait. But ultimately, the main reason that everybody knows this is because Iran has the ballistic missiles program that's very dangerous to Israel. Mid-range missiles that are, many of them hypersonic. They can use them whenever they want. There's no real air defense system that can stop these missiles. We saw that in the 12-day war back in the summer.
Bro, we've seen it. Bro, they were getting bombarded. Israel was getting bombarded. They're getting fucked, bro. I saw clips and video footage of Israel in Tel Aviv. I was laughing my shit off. Not because... Okay, I was laughing my shit off not because they were getting hit by missiles. Because, again, even though they get what they deserve, there's still people that are innocent. So, it's sad. But what... The point that makes me laugh and my shit off is the fact that they were trying to create so many fucking problems, and put their foot when they're not supposed to, they got their consequences. And that's why it makes me fucking laugh. Because everybody knew if they touch in shit they shouldn't touch, they would get the consequences. That's what makes me laugh. It's funny shit.
All that with the bombing campaign or the back and forth bombing back in April. And they also have the nuclear
by the way,
program.
I appreciate the follow. Thank you.
And that's
I
also
appreciate
a
it.
big
Thank
threat
you.
to Israel. They fund and they prop up Hezbollah, which is in southern Lebanon, right on the border of northern Israel. And then they also supported Hamas during the conflict for 20 years. And they partially funded the Houthis in Yemen, and then they also funded Iraqi proxy groups. And so, you know, or militant groups. And so for Israel, the main issue is Iran. If they can get them out the way, they've got the regions to themselves. You know, their home base.
And that's a problem.
Iran
That's
is the
a
last leg
big
standing
problem.
of any sort of resistance. And you got to go all the way back to the 40s and the 50s.
Yeah,
you had the
pretty much.
Arab leaders that opposed Israel. I talked about this last night.
Everyone
2 nights
opposed
ago.
Israel, and then they got
You had Ghulam Abdel Nasser,
they got
who was
backstabbed one
the
by one
Egyptian pan-Arabist,
by Israel
pan-Arab
in
nationalist
America.
leader who opposed Israel. That's why Israel sided with the French. There was so much more resistance from Arab countries prior in the
Yep.
50s and the 60s and the 70s. But as time went on, the U.S. support ensured Israel can slowly but surely weaken and destroy any threat in the region. And so
Which
now we've
is
gotten to the point
stupid.
in
They
the 2020s,
shouldn't have
now
done that.
2026, where there's really no threat. Some of these countries have gone as far as to even sign the Abraham Accords, like
Yep.
Morocco, like I believe the UAE, yes, and Sudan. But now there's
Which
no
is
other
sad.
country that even threatens them. They all recognize them to some level, and Iran's kind of the only thing in the way. And I know that's like long-winded explanation, but when they say nuclear, you really got to pull back all the layers there. It's not
Yeah, you have
about
to. Yeah, of course. We have to explain the whole origin in the beginning.
it's
Of course,
regime
100%.
change because Israel wants autonomy over the Middle East. It's
And
not
it's
a
a
difficult
problem.
concept
It's
to
a big
understand. If you
problem.
go back to Netanyahu's statements in the 90s and the early 2000s, this is what he's always saying. We have to remove the Iraqi regime. We have to remove the Libyan regime. We have to remove the threat in Afghanistan. We have to take care of Iraq. We have to take care of Syria. Syria has way too many threats in the
Yep.
north. Bashar
They
al-Assad
all
is
said it,
supporting
yep.
Iranian proxy groups to go over across his land and give Hezbollah weapons. He is allowing Soviet air power to infiltrate and have presence there. That's not favorable for us in the United States either. So slowly but surely, they trickled everything down, got rid of every single threat, but
Yep.
Iran still stands strong. And, you know, it only makes sense that, of course, this war has been long-winded and difficult because Iran's been sensing this. They know it's been coming. And they've been knowing that it's coming for years because
They
they've
were
watched
ready
every
for
single
this
one of their
shit.
neighbors get eradicated. So for them, they're just doing homework, studying up, and waiting for their turn. And their turn was on February 28th. That's when we started our last Middle Eastern forever war. Because I can tell you for sure and for certain, if we are to beat Iran and achieve this great regime change, that's really it for us in the Middle East. We have no other business there. The only reason we're ever in the Middle East is to help Israel anyways.
Yeah,
And
pretty
so
much.
from the 60s onward, that's always been the case. That will continue to be the case until the axis of resistance is done. And it's completely destroyed. It's toppled. And we eradicate the regime from the top down. And that's what we're trying to do. We killed the supreme leader, but they have mosaic defense. And this is what I mean when I'm saying they have done their homework. They've studied throughout the years. Look how much leadership we've killed in Iran, and look how it slowed them down. It has not. It's really had little effect because they
were
built
more
up a
pissed
military structure where it can
because of it.
operate independently of this ultimate hierarchical leadership. They have all of these different factions that operate independently, and so they're already given commands before anything can actually happen, or they're given commands for what if theoretical situations. So they always know what to do when something happens. And we knew that was the case because when the religious leader was killed, they had this organized missile campaign against 8 or 9 Gulf countries in the span of a week that tarnished several oil assets, that hit so much critical infrastructure, that hit our military bases in the region, made some of them non-operational, hit our largest power plant for our largest base, Al Udeid, in Qatar. So, I mean, you look at everything.
Which is funny,
It's
by the way.
obvious they've studied. It's obvious they've been ready. And now this is like their last fight. This is for the existence of their people. This is an existential threat they're facing. And they have created this rally around the flag effect where everybody in the country is going, hey, even if we didn't like the IRGC prior, there's no better time to get behind them than now because our right of existence is being threatened. And we know this because Donald Trump says the most outlandish things, as well as Pete Hegseth. We're going to send them back to the Stone Age, or we're going to end a whole civilization. We're going to bomb their power plants.
Why?
I mean, if you were against the IRGC, and the opposing military that's been bombing the area you live in is saying these things, would you still be supporting them if you knew the ultimate goal of that bombing campaign was to plant a U.S.-Israeli-backed leader in your nation?
Never, bro.
By the way, that same idea
I
in
never follow
1953
them. I would
is
follow
what caused
my own
Iran to have
country.
so much destabilization, and then the
100%.
Islamic Revolution in 1979, which is why they've been in a Cold War with Israel and the United States ever since. It's for this thirst of regime change that does nothing for them.
Yep.
So you want to start somewhere. We can't just do regime change. That's never worked in the Middle East historically.
True.
It's got to be diplomacy. And Obama had the right idea. So,
True.
you know,
Even
I
though
just
he
said
did-
screw
even
the
though he
article
did a
and
lot of
started
dumb
going
shit.
crazy. I'm sorry.
That is true.
We'll finish the article.
You have to give him props when it's
Let me get back to the article. Where were we? Where was the... It's so hot in here. I got to turn the AC on. Anyways,
أنا نسمة
God, bro.
نازحة من معسكر جباليا.
I know this is an ad. and
Mr.
shit,
Trump
but-
said in an interview aired on Sunday that the
Fucking
United
hell,
States
bro.
was
Fucking
surveilling
Israel,
Iran's
bro.
remaining enriched uranium stockpile, which could enable the country to build a nuclear weapon, and that it would get that at some
Fucking
point. Oh
assholes.
yeah, you're damn right, it would get it at some point.
Fucking hate these
However, that was not the case
fucking
before.
scientists,
Now
bro.
it's certainly the
Fucking
case
hate
because
them.
we've threatened them. In the interview released by the syndicated news show Full Measure, he
never
repeatedly
thought
claimed
we'd
that the
get
United
so-
States was monitoring sites that contain uranium. He
population
warned
so
that
much
if anybody got
at
near
this
the place,
point, to this
we
point.
will know about it and will blow them up. The president's messaging on the importance of existing uranium stockpiles has been inconsistent. Last month, Mr. Trump said he did not care about the uranium because it was buried so far underground. And some of that is true, but they've been working to unbury it in this long-winded ceasefire. And by the way, I'm sorry, I got to say this before it leaves or slips my mind. You know, we've had this ceasefire. It's not really a ceasefire because
It's
we're mowing
not.
the lawn and we keep bombing Iran, stepping back, bombing them, stepping back. But this is giving them time. If we're not actually bombing them like we were in the first 40 days, this is giving them time to build up their missiles, to build up their drones,
Yep.
and worst of all, to continue enriching or enrich past 90%.
It's
which
just
allows
making
for them
things
to make
worse for
this
them.
Big scary
They're
bomb
giving
that
big advantage
everybody's
for
raving
Iran
about
again.
JD Vance and Donald Trump.
Because this
So-
ceasefire.
Because that's the line of rhetoric they use. They say this big dirty bomb. And so, you know,
It's going to be a big problem for American Israel.
every waking second, every moment that passes as I'm talking to you now, and every day that follows, and every week and every month,
Iran's getting
we're not
stronger.
at like full-scale kinetic strikes with Iran or at war with them. What do you think they're doing? I mean, you use
They're
your
just getting
mind. I don't
stronger.
have to be Mr.
Really makes
Expert
sense.
here, and I'm not an expert, but I mean, use your mind. What would you be doing? If you had 60% enriched uranium and the strongest nation in the world,
Bump it up to 90, bro. Boom. Immediately, bro.
that teamed up
Tried
with
to get
your
that
worst
nuke.
enemy in the world, bombed you for 40 days straight. Now you've had 40 days of somewhat of peace and quiet. What would you be doing with that 60% enriched uranium?
Get stronger for the
I think
for later.
it's pretty obvious what you'd probably be doing with that.
Yeah,
60%.
100%.
Anyways,
100%. 100%.
get back here.
Very obvious.
In the back and forth since the start of the ceasefire, Tehran and the United States have offered few details about their proposals, but on Thursday, as Iran was reviewing the United States' latest offer, Mr. Trump gave some specifics. It's an offer that basically said they will not have nuclear weapons. He said they're going to hand us a nuclear dust and many other things, the nuclear dust and many other things that we want. The president often refers to Iran's near bomb grade uranium as dust, though the material is stored in canisters, typically as a gas. Mr. Trump has said that a deal has remained. These guys hate Trump, and I'll admit that, because they're just taking jabs at him any moment they get, or any opportunity they're given to take jabs at him. So I get it. This is somewhat biased, but this is true here. Mr. Trump has said that a deal has remained elusive because Iran lacks leadership after the United States and Israel killed
Lacks
much of the
leadership.
leadership's top ranks.
What they're demanding makes
Mr.
sense.
Trump and Iranian officials
Let's
have
be
also
honest.
offered signals suggesting a lack of trust between the two parties. When asked on Thursday whether Iran had agreed to the United States' demand that it abandon nuclear ambitions, Mr. Trump said that they had, added, when they agree, it doesn't mean much because the next day they forget. Now, I think that's you. The president also warned that if Iran did not agree to the latest deal, it was going to have a lot of pain. Again, more empty threats. His rejection of the Iranian offer came as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel
Fuck
said
that guy,
in an
bro.
interview with CBS 60
Fuck that
Minutes that
piece
the
of shit.
conflict with Iran was not over. He said that was in part because Iran had yet to give up the material that Israel feared could one day be made into a nuclear weapon. And I think that's it for, we don't need to go any further.
Bro, is that the end? Oh, it was the end. So, now we're going to Myron Gaines. I'm gonna watch The Brother of Riyadh. Again, talking about the war. Here we go.
See, I have compiled an enormous amount of information here for you guys, but my
Oh,
goal
yes.
here.
Oh, wait a minute. He has the suit and the tie. Guys, he's serious. Usually when he has a suit and this is like his tie, bro, he's getting serious. So
After I summarize this entire thing for you guys here,
I'm ready
you guys
for
are going
this
to be able to
shit.
walk away from this and know more than 99% of people on the Middle East. I'm going to do my best to summarize it in a manner that's easy to retain, simple, and so that you guys understand some of the players. Because the reason why I want to make sure I summarize this for you guys is because, unfortunately, Western media never tells you guys the truth of what really goes on in the Middle East. And
Which
they have a
sucks.
vested interest in
They
obviously
should,
doing
but,
that when we
you
figure
know.
out who actually runs American media, etc. So the
They
first thing you
should
guys
tell
need
the
to understand
truth,
is that
but
there was
here
a
we
memo
go.
written back in 1996 called the Clean Break Memo, okay? A strategy for securing the realm. Okay, this document was written by Richard Perle, James Colbert, Charles Fairbanks, Douglas Feith, Robert Lowenberg, David Wormser, and Mayrav Wormser.
And by the way, probably they're all Jews. Just to let you guys know.
What you guys need to know about them is that they're all
Yeah, who would have fucking guessed, bro? With those fucking names, who wouldn't have guessed that they're fucking Jews? Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed?
okay? All neocons, very
All
interested
Jews.
in securing the state of
course.
As you guys know, it's geographically located, right? And I'll show you guys this on a map. So as you guys can see, it's surrounded by Arab countries, which historically were always hostile to Israel, okay? So Israel's main goal has always been security, okay? Always having security by either destroying their enemies, destabilizing their enemies, or their enemies, which we are going to go through all three of them, okay? We're going to go over the countries that were cucked by joining the Abraham Accords. We're going to talk about the countries that were destroyed, like Iraq, by not submitting, and then we're going to talk about the countries that are fighting actively against now. So this memo, okay, was written for Benjamin Netanyahu. Who is Benjamin Netanyahu? Benjamin Netanyahu, guys, is the current prime minister of okay? Prime minister is
Fuck this
equivalent
cunt.
to like a president of the United States. He's basically the head of
Fuck this
state,
cunt.
okay? And he was
this cunt.
prime minister back in 1996 when this memo was written. So yes, you heard that right. You have a bunch of U.S. citizens that work for the United States, working for the government, right? Or think tank, a political think tank, that are writing a policy paper for the security of a foreign nation. I know, you're like, what the heck? This doesn't make
makes
sense.
no sense.
Hey.
It makes no sense. How can America make a? It should. That's not how it's supposed to fucking work.
It is what it is, right?
It's
so this
stupid.
paper was written in 1996, and one of the big things you guys need to understand is it talked about the importance of
This is how it all started, by the way. When it comes to all the all the wars in the Middle East. This is the beginning of it.
destroying and or destabilizing
sorry.
all of its
Accelerated
enemies
the mic.
all
Sorry,
across
sorry,
the Middle
sorry.
East, okay? And multiple countries were on this list, okay? Basically, if we go on the map here, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Sudan, Libya, Algeria, Tunisia, like all these, Iran, right?
all the Arab
Yemen, all the
countries.
countries that are not really too friendly with Israel were all put on it, okay? Now, you guys are probably wondering, well, Myron, what about Jordan and Egypt? Well, Jordan and Egypt, guys, have basically agreements with it to recognize it and their allies with it. And the reason why is because we pay them quite a bit of money, okay, to play nice with it. Because obviously the United States looked at it like, look, we'd rather bribe the Egyptians and the Jordanians to play nice with the so that we don't have to constantly have to pay money so that it could defend itself against these two countries that it's on its border, okay? So Egypt made peace with Israel back in 19...
Hey, bro, Egypt and fucking Jordan. Open your fucking eyes, bro. They're destroying everything that you've built in the Middle East. It doesn't matter if you come from Iran, it doesn't matter if you come from Syria, it doesn't matter if you come from Iraq. You're all Muslims. All of you are brothers and sisters. And you're letting these stupid pieces of shit destroy everything you've built until now. Open your fucking eyes, bro. All of you need to open your eyes and actually unite and fuck these guys.
78, I think. It was the Camp David Accords. Good. Okay, yeah, 1978. So here is Jimmy Carter with Anwar Sadat, the former Egyptian president,
there it is.
and Menachem Begin.
Yeah, there you go. This is how everything started. Now, the actual origin. As soon as they have the Camp David Accords, this is where the plan of taking care of the whole Middle East and going to war, creating chaos everywhere started. It's right there. The beginning is right there in the 1970s.
Okay, who
There's
was the
your
prime
origin.
minister at the time.
There it
This
is.
guy has a very dark history, was a former terrorist, absolutely
shit,
nuts,
bro.
but that's a whole other conversation. We won't talk about that right
Piece of
now
shit,
in
that's what
Israel's
I'm
dark
talking
history of terrorism. That's not important. What you guys need to know for the purpose of this discussion is that Egypt formally recognized back in 1978 with the Camp David Accords, and then Jordan also recognized them as well. So this granted security to its east, right, and to its south, okay? And they gave back the Sinai Peninsula here to Egypt after, I think it was a 6-day war, okay? Or was it the Yom Kippur War? Whatever. Regardless, that's not relevant. And then now the only enemy that they really have on their border is Lebanon, okay? And Lebanon houses Hezbollah, which we're going to talk about that here in a second. But what you guys need to know is this memo back in 1996, written by a bunch of American Zionists, was presented to Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, to secure the realm, aka how do we destroy and or get rid of all of our enemies all across the region so that Israel can have security.
There
in order
you
for you
go.
guys to understand,
There you go. There it is right there. It's literally the beginning of the destruction of the whole Middle East. The Camp David Accords. Right there. Boom. 1970s.
must
There's a
understand
problem.
that Israel's
There it is.
chief goal, okay, is to create security for itself by any means necessary. Anyway, now we're going to fast forward to the year 2000, okay? In the year 2000, guys, there was a policy paper written, Rebuilding America's Defenses, Strategy, Forces, and Resources for a New Century. What you guys need to know when it comes to PNAC, Project for a New America, heavily run by Zionists, okay?
And Zion-
Bill
of course.
Crystal, the
Cool, yes,
Crystals,
another Zionist.
Daniel Feith, Wolfowitz, all these guys during the Bush era, okay? And
Of
what you
course,
guys need to
of
know, it
course,
says
of
here,
course.
absent a rigorous program of experimentation to investigate the nature of the revolution in military affairs as it applies to war at sea, the Navy might face a future Pearl Harbor as unprepared for war at the dawn of the carrier age. And then it goes here, further, the process of transformation, even if it brings revolutionary change, is likely to be a long one, absent some catastrophic and catalyzing event, like a new Pearl Harbor. That leads us right to the 9/11 attacks, okay? Now, I'm not
Which
going to go
they
into
knew,
9/11
by the
too
way.
much, as far as like who was
Yeah,
involved or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
but for
we
the
know
purposes of this
everything, we know
conversation, what you guys need to know is 9/11 was used to justify an all-out war on the Middle East and kind of
Yep.
expedite the process of these.
Yep, exactly, bro. The Jews used this shit so America would have these grudges against the Muslims in the Middle East, and that's why we have what we have right now.
Stabilizing and destroying our enemies, okay? And the people that were in the Bush administration at the time, a lot of them were Zionists, okay? A lot of them.
Yeah,
And they
oh,
were
yes,
some of
of
Bush's
course.
closest advisors, all right? Now, as far as like who was involved in 9/11, I'll keep it simple. Was Al-Qaeda involved? Yes.
Yep.
Was Osama bin Laden involved? Abu Zubaydah, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, KSM? Yes.
Yes, there were.
However, what no one ever talks about is that Saudi intelligence was also involved. The intelligence was involved. American intelligence was involved. And basically,
A lot of
though it
a lot
wasn't
of
some
people were
grand
part of
like
it.
conspiracy, what basically was happening was one hand didn't necessarily know what the other was doing. Okay? So for the purposes of simplicity, that's all you guys need to know about 9/11. It was an inside job alongside foreign intelligence agencies as well as
Yep.
foreign actors. Okay? The intelligence agencies knew that the foreign actors were going to attack and they didn't do anything to stop it. Okay?
Yep.
And we know this because George Bush had gotten several warnings that an attack was imminent. And we also know that Mossad was on the ground watching the event transpire,
event.
documenting
Yep.
it. Okay, this is all fact. This is
Yep.
not my opinion or whatever. There's declassified FBI
Yep.
302s that document all of this. Google dancing if you want to go down that rabbit hole. Anyway, let's move on. So after 9/11, this justified the invasion of Iraq and the toppling of Saddam Hussein. Now, if you guys remember, Saddam Hussein was the chief guy that they wanted to get rid of back in 1996. Because at the time, Iraq had the strongest military in the region, okay? Back in the 90s, in the 80s. Strongest military in the region. Now, I should also say that Saddam Hussein fought a war against the Iranians, which we backed, by the way, back in the 1980s, okay? It ended up becoming like a standstill. And what happened was Saddam Hussein went into an enormous amount of debt, okay? After going to this war, because he fought this war for the benefit of a lot of these Gulf countries as well as the United States and even... Or no, did it back? Well, the United States didn't like Iran. So yeah. So we actually backed Saddam Hussein back when he tried to invade Iran. He failed though, because Iran, for those of you that don't know, is geographically almost impossible to penetrate. We're going to come back to this
Yep.
later. And the reason why, guys, is because if you try to penetrate Iran from the
Mountains.
west, there's an entire mountain range here called the
bro.
Zagros Mountains. Okay?
The
Very
mountains,
difficult
bro.
to have supply lines, invade, move your tanks in, move your troops in, etc. It's a it's a nightmare. It's a quagmire.
Yeah,
and the
it's very
Iranians were able
problematic.
to keep the
if
Iraqis
you
back,
try to go
even
boots on
though
ground,
the
America, good luck, bro.
Iraqis had a superior military and they were being backed by the West. Okay? And this one, Saddam Hussein was using like biological weapons, blah, blah, blah. A lot of the stuff that we went ahead and we supported him with and gave him access to. Okay? Because at the time, our interests were aligned with Iraq at the time. So after this, Saddam went into a lot of debt. Okay? And when Saddam went into a lot of debt, he said, look, I need you guys to forgive my debts. Okay? And they said, no, you got to pay us. You got to pay us back because the war obviously like bankrupted Iraq, right? So what Saddam Hussein did was he invaded Kuwait, okay? And this led to a coalition of NATO members, the United States, etc., basically leading to Desert Storm, right? Iraq War I, basically. And we kicked Saddam Hussein out, okay? And that's kind of the backstory with that. But then fast forward, now that you guys know that he had been the enemy after Iraq War I, after Iraq War II, right? Or sorry, what led to Iraq War II was the September 11th attacks where Bush and, you know, a lot of his neocon people in his cabinet, Wolfowitz, Bill Kristol, all these guys, okay? They basically said, yo, Saddam Hussein is the biggest threat in the Middle East. We got to get rid of him. Even though Saddam Hussein had nothing to do with 9/11. I want to be very clear about this. Saddam Hussein had nothing to do with 9/11. As a matter of fact, Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden, okay, actually hated each other, okay? Why did they hate each other? The reason why they hated each other was because when Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait back in the 1990s, okay, look what Kuwait is bordered with, Saudi Arabia. So if Saddam Hussein was able to take Kuwait, which he was able to do in a day, by the way, he rolled his tanks in, like not a single shot was fired, they immediately gave up. This was obviously a huge national security threat for Saudi Arabia. This is why we jumped in, because we have a peace deal with the Saudi Arabia since the 1970s, okay, to protect them. That was a big reason why we came in, because we knew that Saudi Arabia would be next. So Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden, high off the victory that he beat the Soviets back in the 1980s in Afghanistan, over here, okay, he tells the Saudi family, hey, look, I can defend you guys against Saddam Hussein. I got my Mujahideen, which will later become Al-Qaeda. We whooped the shit out of the Soviets. I can do this. This is what Osama bin Laden was telling the royal family. They told him, no, but no thanks. Okay? No, but no thanks. We got the United States. We got the petrodollar deal. We have security with them. We love you, Saddam. We know your family. Sorry, we love you, Osama. We know that your family spends a lot of money with, you know, because for those of you that don't know, Osama bin Laden was wildly wealthy. No one ever talks about this. He has an engineering degree, very smart. He can speak English, and he was incredibly wealthy. His family was basically billionaires. Why? Because his family owned a construction company which was responsible for building the entire infrastructure of Saudi Arabia in the 1960s.
Okay, damn.
So he had an enormous amount of money. That's how he was able to fund and support.
I knew he was important, but I didn't know it was that important.
The Mujahideen, and they were able to push back and fight the Soviets. Also, important for you guys to know, you're going to see this trend. The CIA backed Osama bin Laden against the Russians. Okay? So when Osama came back and told the royal family, look, I can defend you guys. I can fight Saddam Hussein. They told him, no, but no thanks. Okay? We got the United States that could defend us. Now, Osama got irate over this. He said, what are you talking about? You're going to let a bunch of kafirs defend us in our land? This is haram. You can't do that. Why are you using, infidels to defend sacred Arab land? For those of you that don't know, Saudi Arabia is it is the centerpiece for the Islamic faith. Why? Because there's many religious areas here. You got Medina, Mecca, the Kaaba is over here, the box, right, that people go to Hajj for. So Saudi Arabia has an enormous amount of Islamic influence. Okay, and we're going to talk about that Islamic influence when we go to the Abraham Accord. So stay with me. Okay, so once Osama criticized the royal family, okay, and said, yo, well, they didn't kill him. He's not Omar Khashoggi, but they basically told him, all right, bro, you don't tell us what to do. Get the f out of here. They gave him the eat. Okay? So he got basically isolated and kicked out. This is where the radicalization process began. Okay? And they shunned him over to, interestingly enough, Sudan. So Osama bin Laden spent a significant amount of time in Sudan, in the Khartoum area, okay, where he invested quite a bit of money into the infrastructure. And he was there for years in the mid and early 90s, okay, hiding out here. And this is where kind of Al-Qaeda starts to be built up, okay? Anyway, so Osama bin Laden and Saddam Hussein had these beefs. Now, let's go ahead and talk about Gaddafi real quick. Why are we talking about Gaddafi? Gaddafi, okay, after Saddam Hussein was toppled in 2003 and captured and, eventually executed, etc., by hanging, Gaddafi was pursuing a nuclear weapon program, okay? He immediately stopped. He let IEA in. He stopped pursuing a nuclear weapon. He started to get cozy up to the West, and this would later be his death sentence.
What?
Because what ended up happening was, once he abandoned his nuclear program, they went and killed him anyway, roughly 10 to 12 years later in 2011, okay? They killed him anyway under the Obama administration, okay? And there's many different reasons why people say, hey, why did they kill him, etc. Libya at the time was doing very well. They had almost no debt. He was running like he's a very secular leader. He was actually running sociology, he was running socialism, right, which actually working in this country. People had access to food, they had access to water, they had access to free education, all this stuff. And he was working with all these other African countries to create like an African dollar, okay? An African currency that would be backed by...
Probably that was a problem. They didn't want Americans and the Jews and shit. They didn't want that to let that have to slide.
All the
Probably.
resources in Africa. Well, obviously,
Probably.
Obama and Hillary Clinton couldn't have
Yeah.
that. And
There you go.
they ended
Probably
up backing
that's
a
the
bunch of
reason.
rebels, and NATO started striking, and that led to his death. Now, let me be clear about this.
That's
Gaddafi
so
had his
stupid.
skeletons in his closet, too. He was behind a terrorism attack back, I think, in like the 1970s or 80s, which he apologized for and took credit for, and I think he gave reparations to the families. Obviously, he was a dictator, right? He did kill opposition, as with many of these leaders in the Middle East, okay? And he didn't do too well with criticism, just like the Saudi Arabian family did with with Osama bin Laden, okay? So Gaddafi was also toppled, okay? So, and we already know about the Iraq War, cool. Now, this leaves us with Iran. Remember that clean break memo that I told you guys about?
Khamenei.
Iran was on that list, okay? And Iran is the last country left that has not been toppled on that list, okay? On that list that was originally identified in the clean break memo. Because every single one of those countries has been destroyed and or cucked. They've either joined Abraham Accords, they've been bribed, they have some type of peace accords with, or they've been bombed to hell, or the leaders have been taken out.
Yeah, pretty
Libya
much.
is completely Iraq still
They just destroy
destabilized.
everything.
Sudan destabilized, right?
That's pretty much
Jordan,
what they're
Egypt, UAE. Lebanon, they tried to destroy it. They're trying to destroy it right now as we speak, etc. So let's enter in Ali Khamenei. Who is Ali Khamenei? Ali Khamenei, guys, is the supreme leader, okay, that ran Iran starting in 1989, if I'm not mistaken. Did he take over? Yeah, he took over in 1989. Okay. The person that was his predecessor was Ruhollah Khamenei. We don't have to go too much into him, but understand that he was the first supreme leader of Iran that took power back in 1979 after the Iranian Revolution. Okay. Which I've explained Iran's history. For the purpose of today, I won't go through that. I'm just going to go into more contemporary stuff. So anyway, Ali Khamenei was the supreme leader of Iran since 1989. Now, it's important for you guys to understand that as a supreme leader, the way Iranian politics works is you have a supreme leader who oversees the IRGC, okay? Where is it? Right here. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, okay? Now, this is, and he also obviously oversees the intelligence services, etc. Now, this is important for you guys to realize. There's also a president in Iran, okay? The president does the day-to-day political stuff, economy, resources, government funding, all the day-to-day government stuff. The president deals with that. So a lot of people don't know this. Iran is actually a democracy, interestingly enough. They are a democracy. They have a president. They have a democratically elected president. It's this guy right here.
Wait. Wait, what? Wait a minute. They have a democracy. Okay. So why the fuck is America trying to get a regime change if they... Wait, what? Bro, what? Bro. I didn't know that. I thought it was just the RGC that were controlling the country. I didn't thought that further ahead. Okay.
Here,
Wow,
Masoud
that's-
Pezeshkian,
okay.
okay? But I want to be clear here. He doesn't have any power over the IRGC, who is the elites and the, I guess, top military guys for Iran, okay? The supreme leader oversees them. They answer directly to the supreme leader, okay? And the IRGC is who we're fighting right now when it comes to the United States and Israel. They are the biggest threat to the United States and Israel. Because the IRGC has and runs the ballistic missile program and the drone program. We're going to come back to that here in a little bit. So keep that in mind, though, that the IRGC runs those two things. Now, the IRGC, understanding that the United States and Israel are slowly either destroying and or all of the Muslim Arab countries or countries in the Middle East, they created what's called the Axis of Resistance, okay? The Axis of Resistance, guys, is an alliance between multiple countries, okay, which was spearheaded by this guy, Qasem Soleimani, right? This is why this guy was so dangerous, because he was the main strategist and head of the IRGC who created and pretty much ran the Axis of Resistance. The Axis of Resistance, guys, is one of the components that Iran uses to insulate itself against and the United States. Now, in order for you guys to understand the need for the Axis of Resistance, you must understand in the United States when it comes to Middle Eastern foreign policy. As you guys know, the United States, and especially, has a vested interest in becoming the hegemon in the region. Okay, they want to be the strongest country that that doesn't have anyone challenging their authority in the region. So Iran, realizing that is a military superpower and gets backing from the United States, basically unlimited money, as well as direct support from the United States militarily, they created what's called the Axis of Resistance. Now, the Axis of Resistance, guys, is multiple different militia groups, a lot of times non-state actors like Hezbollah, Hamas, different Iraqi groups, the Houthis, etc. Okay, these groups are basically created to keep constant pressure on to insulate Iran. And Iran backs and supports all of these different groups. So whenever you hear on Fox News or whatever proxies, they're referring to the axis of resistance. Okay? Now, Hamas, as you guys know, is in Gaza. The Houthis are down here in western Lebanon. You have Hezbollah in Lebanon, especially southern Lebanon. You have Syria, who they had Bashar al-Assad, right, who was running them for a while, etc. Now, what ended up happening was, and then this is a part of their program. So Iran has three main things to defend itself. Okay, actually four. But let's go with the three main things. Number one, they have the axis of resistance. Number two, they have an advanced ballistic missile program. Number three, they have an advanced drone program. And then number four, they have what's called a threshold nuclear program. Okay, so the Iranians have mastered the cycle of how to create and enrich uranium to a high degree. In order for you to make a nuclear bomb, you have to be able to enrich uranium to roughly 90% purity. Okay, and then that's what's called weapons grade. Okay, there's two main paths to getting a nuclear bomb. I'm not a scientist, I'm not an expert at it, but what I can tell you is basically this: you can either go the route of enriching uranium or using a nuclear reactor. Okay, it should be important for you guys to know that has a nuclear bomb. It's an illegal one, and it's strategically ambiguous, but they absolutely do have nuclear bombs. This was shown by a guy named Mordecai Vanunu back in the day. Whole other story, but that's whatever. Okay, so both and the United States have nuclear programs, and obviously they're huge military powers. So Iran had to create multiple different layers of defense against trying to attack them. And they've been trying to topple Iran since the 1970s when the Iranian Islamic Revolution began. Okay? So what happened here was the need, obviously, for the acts of resistance. Now, Qasem Soleimani was the mastermind of this, and Trump killed him back in 2020, which was a major escalation. Whenever he says, I killed Soleimani, right? Qasem Soleimani. This is who he's referring to. Okay? This guy was a thorn on the side of the...
I hate the way he talks.
And even
Mossad
director Yossi Cohen said Soleiman's strategy had personally tightened the news.
No, not him. I'm talking about Trump. Trump is fucking... What? China? Like the way, I don't know, the way he talks is fucking funny.
Israel's neck. Well, why?
So
because, as you guys can see here, from a geographic standpoint, okay, look, they've created this entire ring of fire around it, okay, to curb their aggression, to curb their nuclear prowess, to curb their sophisticated military, because it has the best military in the region, chat, by far. They have F-35s. They have a intelligence service with the Mossad, Unit 8200, the Shin Bet, which is their equivalent of the FBI, right? Probably better than ours, if I'm going to be honest. Probably better than ours. They have a fantastic intelligence services or service program, right? So the Iranians had to combat that with their superior military, nuclear weapons, and their intelligence services with the acts of resistance. And they had all these enemies surrounding so that would always have to fight through the proxies to get to Iran. Okay? So again, 4 weapons that Iran has. Number 1, their ballistic missile program, their most dangerous. Number 2, their drone program. Number 3, the proxies, aka the axis of resistance, funding Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, etc., the Popular Mobilization Forces in Iraq, etc., Bashar al-Assad, and then finally, their nuclear threshold program, which is a deterrent because it has a nuclear weapon. Okay? Now, you guys are probably wondering, well, Myron, aren't we in war right now because of their nuclear program? Yes and no. It's important for you guys to realize that the Iranians maintain a nuclear weapons program because Trump pulled out of what's called the JCPOA in 2018. When he pulled out of the JCPOA in 2018, this was a deal that Obama had struck in place back in 2015, which where we would oversee their nuclear program. We would make sure it would never hit nuclear grade. It would only be for civilian energy purposes only. They would not enrich beyond, I think, 3.5%, which is civilian for energy purposes. And in return of us overseeing their nuclear program with the IAEA, right, we would lift the sanctions. Trump, once he came into power in 2018, he came in 2016. When he came in 2018, one of the first things he did was, where he came in 2016, and then one of the first things he did was he pulled out of the JCPOA and then designated the IRGC. Remember these guys? He designated them a terrorist organization. This gave him the power to then later kill Qasem Soleimani in 2020 in Iraq, okay? This was a major escalation. Once we killed Soleimani, once we pulled out of the JCPOA, once we designated the IRGC as a terrorist organization, this is when the Iranians started to enrich at a higher level. Very important. Very important that you guys understand this, okay? This is one of the biggest lies that the mainstream media tell you guys when they say they're trying to build a nuclear bomb. It's extremely important you guys understand this.
I mean,
in
not
2015,
probably, but
here's the timeline. 2015, Obama enters into the JCPOA alongside Iran. We oversee your nuclear program. We make sure it's civilian only. In return, we relieve the sanctions.
I'm gonna get a cup of water. Come back in a second, guys. Sorry. There you go. I got myself a cup of water. I needed that since we're gonna talk. We talked a lot today. I mean, every single time we talk about the harsh truth here in the channel, I do talk a lot. I talk about the truth and nothing but the truth, but sometimes it gets tiresome, so I need to drink a little bit of water. Good water. Water's good. Very good.
Cool. Everyone's happy. 2016, Trump gets in. It's also important for you guys to know, in 2015, as Obama was getting ready to leave the White House, Netanyahu gave a famous speech in the United States. And he basically said, Iran can't be trusted. They're going to get a nuclear bomb anyway. We need to pull out of the JCPOA.
Bro,
why?
this is
Because
so
like I told you
dumb.
guys before, Iran has been the biggest threat to it for decades. Okay, that's key. So when Trump came in, one of the things he ran on was we're gonna go hard on Iran. This is why Trump was able to get a lot of the Zionist votes in 2016. That's actually what helped him get into office. A lot of people don't know this. No one talks about it. Once
I
he got
did not
in,
know
him
that,
and Mike
by the way.
Pompeo,
I
the
didn't know
Secretary of
that.
State, designated the IRGC as well. First, he pulled out of the JCPOA. 2018, he pulls out of the JCPOA. Next, Mike Pompeo, his Secretary of State, designates the IRGC as a foreign terrorist organization. Once he designated the IRGC as a foreign terrorist organization,
It's
now the
always
gloves
them.
are off.
It's always them. Like always, it's always them, bro.
They can sanction Iran again, which went back on the JCPOA, and then he killed Qasem Soleimani in 2018. Obviously, these are all major escalations. That, my friends, is what led Iran to start enriching uranium to beyond 3.5%. And this is what no one ever talks about. Now, let's fast forward to October 7th. Okay, let's get into October 7th. As you guys know,
October
October
7th,
7th was
holy
the stimuli that kind of led to a lot of this stuff. Okay? Okay, now let's get into October 7th. Here's a summary that you guys need to
There
know
we
for
go.
October 7th. Hamas attacked. Okay, these guys right here, Hamas. Okay, they are the governing body slash
Jesus.
paramilitary wing out of Gaza, which is this little strip of land right here. And they were democratically elected back in like 2007 or something like that. After pulled out,
And they
and
did a
they basically
genocide.
control and oversee the Gaza Strip. Okay, now Hamas is run by Yahya Sinwar, who is the head of the military branch, Ismail Haniyeh, who is the head of the political branch, and then you have this guy Abu Obaida. Let me see if I can find him. And there's a lot of relevance with why we're going to talk about these guys here in a second. Where the hell did he go? All right. Well, oh, here we go. Okay. So Hamas attacked on October 7th, right? Obviously, we have the October 7th attacks. There were a couple of different reasons why Hamas attacked on October 7th. Okay. Abu Obaida, this guy right here, who's the spokesperson for the Qassam Brigades, aka the military branch of Hamas, he went into detail about why. But for what you guys need to know, why, I will give you a quick summary of the main reasons. Number one, the Abraham Accords. What are the Abraham Accords? The Abraham Accords, guys, are accords where Muslim Arab countries in the region recognize as a sovereign state. For a very long time, as an act of protest, many countries did not recognize Israel's sovereignty because of what they did to the Palestinians by stealing land. So many countries
Yep.
refused to acknowledge.
That's why I say if they solve the question of Palestine, it pretty much it's over. Like there's no more war. Suppose that Israel should not exist. It should be Palestine. Suppose that. There it is.
or recognize Israel's sovereignty. So the Abraham Accords was brokered by Donald Trump in 2020 to have these Muslim countries recognize, okay, countries that are currently involved: Bahrain, UAE, Morocco, and Sudan even got. Okay. Now, what you guys need to know, and this is why I talked about Saudi Arabia earlier. Remember I said Saudi Arabia had great religious influence? Saudi Arabia was flirting with joining the Abraham Accords as well in 2023. So that put Hamas in a difficult position. If Saudi Arabia joined the Abraham Accords, the Palestine question would never be answered. Now, what you guys need to know is your boy Benjamin Netanyahu for a very long time has been trying to avoid the Palestine question. What are we going to do with Palestinians in the West Bank and in Gaza, right? They're not recognized as civilians. They're occupied. They don't have any rights. So the Palestinians that live in the region, right, especially Hamas, they knew if Saudi Arabia joined the Abraham Accords, it was done. It was done. They would not have any type of freedom. So what happened was Yahya Sinwar, this guy, let's go through with why they attacked. So number one, Abraham Accords. Number two, red heifers. What the f are you talking about, Myron? Long story short, they brought 5 cows over from Texas. They imported 5 red cows from the United States into. They're in Jerusalem right now as we speak, and they plan to slaughter them for the coming of their Messiah. I know. But that was a big provocation because in order for them to rebuild the third temple, they must destroy the Al-Aqsa Mosque. The Al-Aqsa Mosque is in Jerusalem. It's the third holiest site in all of Islam. The want to destroy it, rebuild the temple, slaughter the cows to do the event. So this was a triggering event as well. The occupation, as you guys know, Palestinians have no rights in the region. They don't have citizenship. They're basically sitting in an open air prison, etc. And then fourth, hostage exchange. So the Hamas knew by going into it and kidnapping people, right? They'll be able to offer those people for a hostage exchange and be able to get their people back. There's roughly 10,000 plus Palestinians, guys, that are being charged with that are being held without charge. Okay, some of them have charges, a lot of them don't, and we're talking about children, etc., being held in these prisons. Some of them are brutal, like SDE Tenemon, which is like where they Palestinian prisoners. It's brutal. So why did they attack on October 7th? The Western media never talks about this. They attacked because number one, the occupation in the West Bank and in Gaza. Number two, bringing in the red cows and destroying the Al-Aqsa Mosque. That's why they called Operation October 7th attacks Operation Al-Aqsa Flood. Number three, the occupation, the violent occupation, right? And then number four, the Abraham Accords, and potentially, Number one, Abraham Accords, Saudi Arabia potentially getting in, so they had to act. Number two, the red cows. Number three, the occupation, and then number four, hostage exchange to get Palestinians back that are being held unjustly in prisons. Okay? Now, let's talk about what happened on October 7th. It's important for you guys to realize that the mainstream narrative is this. On October 7th, Hamas went in, killed 1,200 and it was a horrible, beheaded babies in ovens, etc. A lot of this is false. Here's the reality. On October 7th, Hamas went in, killed roughly 1,200 people were killed. This is true. But we don't know how many people they killed versus Hamas. Now, you guys probably wonder, what are you talking about this? Kill their own people. Well, there's something called the Handel Directive. It's a very controversial military protocol where they kill their own, right, to stop Palestinian resistance groups from kidnapping because they understand.
Yep. That's exactly what they did. IDF, Animal Directive, they killed their own population so they would be hostage. So they decided to do the Animal Directive, which is literally by definition killing their own population by not becoming like they're fucking horrible people. Zionists are fucking horrible people. They do even do this shit to their own fucking population. It's fucking incredible.
That if the Palestinians are able to get their hands on it, is
horrible.
Well, guess what? They trade that one when they do the hostage exchanges for like 100 Palestinians. Okay? Has a bad taste in her mouth from doing hostage exchanges because the last time they did one, a big one, guess who they ended up getting? They ended up getting this guy, okay? The Palestinians ended up getting this guy back, who ended up becoming the mastermind of the October 7th attacks. So now you can see why, right? Because he was actually they got him back in a trade for an IDF soldier back in like 2006. He was one of like 1,000 Palestinians that was released, okay, during a prisoner swap. So the Hannibal Directive is to minimize leverage that Palestinian groups get from kidnapping. So we'd rather kill the being kidnapped instead of letting them be captured by the Palestinians, because this puts us in a precarious diplomatic and geopolitical situation. It creates a fucking quagmire for them, right? Now, let's go through the numbers. Roughly 1,200 people were killed. We know roughly 400 of those people that were killed were IDF, which means they're enemy combatants, fair game. Of the 800 that were killed, to this day, we don't know how many of them were killed by the versus how many were killed by Hamas. We don't know. We don't know, okay? Also, it's important to note that in military service is required. So of those 800 that were killed, we don't know how many of them were reserve, maybe how many of them maybe weren't active duty, but service in the military is mandatory unless you're like one of these like exempt.
So everyone has to do military. So it makes sense, Animal Directive, so they probably kill their own population even though they were not there militarily speaking. But since they went to military, they can die and pretty much be part of the Animal Directive. It's fucked up. Fucking fucked up.
Religious Orthodox, right?
And then they say, and then they say that the Muslims and the Christians are the ones that are actually bad. Bro, you're willing to kill your own population, bro. You're the fucking problem. All of you Zionists.
Was the mastermind of October 7th. Ismail Haniyeh was the chief negotiator. So after October 7th happened, he was the one that was negotiating with. Well, guess what it did? They assassinated him in Iran, okay? And they also killed Yahya Sinwar as well. So they got rid of the guy that planned the attacks, and they also got rid of the guy that was doing the negotiating. Because it doesn't really feel like ever negotiating, okay? They're not really too good at negotiating. They'd rather...
Wait, what? Why would you kill the people that are trying to negotiate with you for peace? What the fuck? Bro, fuck these guys, bro. Fuck the Zionists.
Just kill
fuck these
right?
Jews.
So now let's get into Hezbollah. Why is Hezbollah relevant? The reason why Hezbollah is relevant is because when the October 7th attacks happened and began the process of invading Gaza, Hezbollah started shooting rockets into it. Okay? Now, why did they do this? They did this because by shooting rockets into northern Israel, This would force the IDF to mobilize units to secure the northern border, which would take away resources from invading the Gaza Strip. Okay, again, that's the axis of resistance working,
But
right?
instead, they decided to do a genocide.
Completed their campaign and bombed the out of Gaza and did their little genocide. They invaded Lebanon. When they invaded Lebanon, they basically did airstrikes and they did target assassinations. They killed Hassan Nasrallah and they killed Fuad Shukr and they did the infamous pager attack. Okay, Hassan Nasrallah was the head of Hezbollah and very well respected in axis of resistance in the Arab world. Right? He gave a famous speech back in 2000 called the Spiderweb speech in southern Lebanon. After they beat this, kicked them out. Hezbollah is the only group that successfully repelled from invading and occupying Lebanon, right? And that's why, actually, that's a matter of fact, that's why is in there again. So anyway, they did the Patriot attack and they killed him. This led to a ceasefire between Lebanon, okay? Which they violated multiple times. This led to the fall of Bashar al-Assad. Why? Because once the ceasefire commenced with Lebanon, Hezbollah is the strongest member of the axis of resistance. Okay, they are the strongest member, and they're situated to the north. They're the most competent fighting force. When they were disabled, this opened the door for rebels out of Idlib province in Iran to begin attacking Syria. They went into Aleppo, took Aleppo, and then they worked their way down, walked to Hama, Homs, and they worked their way to Damascus. And they destabilized and got rid of Bashar al-Assad. Okay, the person that led this charge was this guy, Ahmed al-Shara, aka Jalani. Yes, if you guys are thinking about the Al-Qaeda Jalani, yes, this is him. This guy used to be a member of Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, okay, aka HTS, and yeah, he was a member of Al-Qaeda for a while. A head chopper, all that shit. He ended up becoming the leader of Syria, and he's currently the president of Syria. He actually went to the White House as well, which is kind of crazy. Bro went from Al-Qaeda to the White House, which is nuts.
So he's a fucking Jew piece of shit. See if I got a picture here with y'all.
Here's when he got captured in Iraq. Here he is with the Ukrainian foreign minister. Here he is in Damascus with European leaders. Here he is in Azerbaijan. Here he is in European Commission. Here he is with Putin. And here he is with, obviously, Donald Trump. Crazy. Bro went from head chopping to taking pictures with the president. Never thought I'd see that day. Anyway, yes, he was backed by the United States. And Trump actually admitted that he put Ahmed al-Shara into power because when Lebanon was weakened, Hezbollah was...
Who would have fucking guessed? Who would have guessed that they were the ones that put him in power? Of course, bro. It's always the fucking Americans and the Zionists. Jews. Are they even... The real question is, when are they not part of the story? That's the real question at this point. When are they not part of the story? The Americans or the Jews or the Zionists? Like when are they not part of the story? Or the cause of the problem, or so goes on. Come on, bro.
Weekend, that opened the door for Ahmed al-Shara to come in and get Bashar al-Assad out. So Bashar al-Assad fled the country. He's currently in, on asylum in Russia, okay? And he's currently running the country now. And the United States lifted sanctions from Syria, and they are now recognized by the United States, and so is... Okay, now, this leads us, now that all the Axis powers are gone, we talked about Hamas being destroyed, we talked about Hezbollah being weakened, we talked about Bashar al-Assad being exiled. Now this opens the stage for Iran. Iran now losing their Axis of resistance, losing losing their supreme leader, etc. What you guys need to know is Iran got into a war with the back in June. This was called the 12-Day War, okay? And during the 12-Day War, Iran launched a surprise attack, a genius surprise attack, by the way, where they have Mossad operatives in the country destroy air defense, kill nuclear scientists, as well as kill many heads of the IRGC, okay? This prompted Iran to respond, and then the next thing we know was boom, boom, Tel Aviv. Boom, boom, boom.
I have to play it.
Boom, boom, boom.
Such a good music, let's be honest. It's good music, bro. Let's be honest. It's good music.
During the course of this 12-day war, both sides took enormous hits. Iran took a significant amount of hits, but so did Israel. Now, what are the things that the two countries walked away from? Well, Iran walked away realizing we need to improve our air defense and we need to improve our ability to defend ourselves. We need to refine our missiles and we need to have more accuracy, right? And then they found out, holy, these guys can actually hurt us. We can't let them continue to exist. So as Iran was rebuilding its missile stockpile and getting more accurate and working alongside the Chinese and the Russians, Israel was plotting to kill the supreme leader as well as effectuate some type of regime change in Iran, okay? So they plotted this since June and the 12-day war because realized at that point with the 12-day war that they cannot survive, or their existence is heavily in jeopardy with the Iranians, because those ballistic missiles really hurt. And it was the first time that it got touched. And it started to realize, oh, we can't really stop hypersonics. These drones are difficult. And we only have a certain amount of air defense to stop the Iranians from attacking us, right? So once they figured that out, they said, we cannot let these guys continue to exist. And that is when the plan to assassinate Ali Khamenei rose, okay, or became a thing. And we're going to talk about that here in a second with a video I got to react to for you guys. So this is what led to the current war that we're in now and why they attacked again in February. Before the war, it's very important that you guys understand this, okay? Before the war, the United States and Israel told Iran, you need to get rid of 3 things. Number 1, no enrichment, which means no uranium at all, okay? Now, according to international law, the Iranians have the right to enrich uranium, okay, at a civilian level. But they do have highly enriched uranium, which was stockpile, which was hidden after the 12-day war because we bombed their nuclear facilities during the 12-day war. The United States did to end the war, but we didn't get the highly enriched uranium. And we were trying to find it, but we don't have it. Number 2, their ballistic missile program needs to be neutered. And basically, it can't go beyond 300 kilometers. Why? Because with their ballistic missile program neutered, they can't attack. Okay, and then finally, they have to stop funding the proxies, Hezbollah, Hamas.
So have no defense, have no uranium, be a naked country that would get fucking destroyed if Israel with America would decide to go to war with Iran. It's fucking stupid. It makes no sense.
Etc. Well, Iran said no to all of them for obvious reasons. Well, they don't have a nuclear program, that they don't have the ability to have that deterrent, as well as they're very proud. So it's like, we're not going to get rid of our uranium enrichment program when every other country can do it, and has an illegal nuclear program. What the fuck? Number 2, obviously they're not going to get rid of their ballistic missile program and or neuter it to 300 kilometers because that's their main defense and their drone program.
Like,
and then finally, when it comes to funding the proxies, they're not going to do that because Hezbollah is on Israel's head top, and they are the most competent fighting force to stave off the aggression to the north, strategically speaking. So once Iran said no to all of that, the United States attacked. Now it's very important that you guys know this. The Iranians told the United States, if you attack us, we're going to consider an attack from one and an attack from both, and we are going to bomb both of you. We're going to destroy the bases in the region. We're going to shut down the Strait of Hormuz, and we're going to bomb Tel Aviv and attack strategic locations all across.
Yep, they did. By the way, that is true. They did say that openly. They said all that to the public. If they attack them, they would attack them. They would attack America indirectly and Israel directly.
Now he would be able to get a Venezuela Part 2 attacked anyway, and well, that didn't go too well for.
Boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom, Tel Aviv, this is what you get for all your evil deeds.
Boom, boom, boom.
So anyway, they ended up getting cooked. But Iran suffered quite a bit of hits too, right? And then all the bases in the region, I told you guys this from like day 3 of the war, that the bases in the region were cooked. But now CNN finally reported that all the bases all across the region in the Gulf, right, our allies, are all destroyed. And that's kind of where we are now with the war, to summarize, okay? And that's where we've had the ceasefire going since I think April 8th, which, you know, we still had a blockade. The blockade was kind of backed up. But what you guys need to know is this. Trump, Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth, and JD Vance, who were all the main framers of this war, did not expect this war to go this long. Trump thought that this war would be done in 96 hours, and now it's basically going for near 100 days. And Trump is kind of figuring things out as he goes, because he thought he was going to get another Venezuela, and now he's in a political quagmire because the Strait of Hormuz is closed, oil prices are going up, energy prices are going up, fertilizer isn't getting through, and we've created basically the worst energy crisis in modern human history. I'm going to say that again for you guys.
Literally, it's the worst one
We have
ever.
created the worst energy crisis in modern human history.
Yeah,
worse
ever.
than the oil embargo of 1973 that the
It was
Saudis
worse
put in
than
touch.
the
I think it was
old
King
ones.
Faisal after the
Yeah.
Yom Kippur War. Give me 9s in the chat if you learned something new and you guys enjoyed that history lesson. We went through like 30 plus years of history. We went from 1996 all the way to 2026. Again,
People, this is exactly why I love watching Myron Gaines, and not just Myron Gaines. Riyadh, do you see what you just explained? Like I said, he extracts the information, gives all of us the fucking points, the dots that connect to each other, and then shows us the proof, bro. That's why I love Myron Gaines and Riyadh, because they're very good when it comes to information and to literally show the proof exactly how it is.
I know I didn't cover everything, every detail, but we covered all the most pertinent shit. Awesome.
Like, that's why I really like them. Now, Okay, so there you go. We did a little update when it comes to the wars and stuff like that. Now we're gonna do the red pill, feminism and stuff like that. But before we get to that, it's time to look at the oil prices, because we all know that they're probably under $90, but we're not sure. So we're gonna go and see. How are we? Oh boy, we're not in the 90s, we're in the 105 pretty much. Close to $105. This is bad. Trump, make a Truth Social post so it can go down. Because we all know what your fucking strategy is to wait until the price of oil goes to 112, make a Truth Social post or do something dumb, and then the price goes down. We all know that's your strategy. We all know that's what's probably going to happen. So there you go. This was at the beginning of the week, or close to the beginning of the week. Bro, we're 104. Thank you, Trump, for going to war to make everyone suffer. I appreciate it. And fuck you, Israel. Fuck you. Boom, boom, boom. Tel Aviv.
Like a regular chick and an OnlyFans
There we go,
girl.
though.
The sex worker.
So now we're going to talk about feminism, red pill, pretty much red pill content, pretty much. That's where we're going to go with
An
that.
OnlyFans girl, etc. They're just going to be more pronounced in the way they do things. It doesn't change the fact that like they have the same natural attraction triggers, proclivities, whatever. It's just that the OnlyFans girl or the streamer or the entertainer, they might just be a bit more ostentatious about it. But that doesn't change the fact that like they're both like still looking for the same sign.
Do you think you've been doing this too long?
Look, I do it for the people so they can see the bull, right? You know, and it's crazy because it's like 6
Yeah, that's why we love you, because you do it so everyone can see the fucking bullshit and the truth. My God.
years later they're doing it's just getting
My
worse,
God.
by the way.
Yeah,
I've noticed
yeah.
a trend where like they just get worse and worse and worse progressively. And I just see like it's a noticeable difference
My
where
God, bro.
even 6 years later, like the girls are worse than like
Yeah,
the
true.
before. And like a 21-year-old in 2020
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
not
yeah,
as
yeah,
bad
yeah.
as a 21-year-old in 2026.
Yeah. True,
It's
true.
night and day, dude.
True.
It's really bad. So this is really for these guys so they can see like what's going on here. Like this is like what you guys have to deal with, dude. It's insane.
At some point, someone's gonna have to make a montage.
When it comes to this, I would say we still have a kind of hope here in Europe. But we're getting to the point where it's hopeless and it's becoming kind of like America. We're getting there. Unfortunately, but you know.
Of like the girls from like when we first started, like 2021, 2022, and like now, like just to get that comparison, because it's like, I mean, you've been doing this for a long time, obviously.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, I just have less patience for it.
I remember.
Like, I have no problem like just telling them get the fuck out.
Let me. Okay, so let's go back in time. Give me that sound effect.
Yeah.
Give me that sound effect. There we go. Let's go back in time. Okay. To the foggy days of January of 2021, and I was on this show. I was in the old studio, and we were on this show, and you brought me on to like debate or talk to some chick who I don't know who she was. She was like a psychologist. She taught at a college or something like that. She came in
And
here. She was with her other girlfriend.
Yeah.
And before we even started the show, the other girl started mouthing off to you, and you're like, "Hey, it's my show. Get out."
Yeah.
Right? And we weren't even live. It was just before the show even started. And then we went live, and then we had the discussion and everything. It's still archived somewhere. I know it is. It's on YouTube somewhere. But that was the very first. I was here for the very first Frank Castle that no one ever saw. And I think afterwards I said, "Man, you should have let her stay on the show."
Yeah.
And then kicked her off of the show when we were doing that.
Yeah, no, I let them, do their whatever, but like, dude, that was just so irritating. I'm seeing her like doing this and shit. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is wrong? Like,
Yeah.
I got all A's. You're still like, it's like, it's insane. Don't know percentages and shit. It's like, bro, what the f?
The percentages thing is real, bro. I've had so many girls come on, and I realize that they don't not understand the question. They do not understand that a percentage is 1/100th of the whole. Like, they legitimately don't understand.
they didn't get
it's
to
1
How do
over
they
the
know that?
denominator
Math.
of 100. They don't understand what percentages are.
I think men's only real recourse now at this point is like you just have to be as fit and make as much money as possible. Like you literally have to get in a position of dominance so you can just like tell shut the fuck up, and then like also have the ability to like get another girl should your girl like disobey you. Because like I honestly think at this point the natural proclivity, and we're seeing this have higher and higher disapproval ratings of men
Yes.
and have less and less respect for men. Because even in the past 6 years that I've done this, like I've just noticed it become more and more and more disrespectful. And the thing that's like scary to me is like, wait, they're doing this to me on my show with 30,000 people watching. What are they gonna do to you when you're by yourself?
Imagine when
In the
you're by
house?
yourself.
Like
Yeah.
when you're a regular guy that works an honest job,
Yeah.
50K per year, 60K per
Imagine
year.
that.
The thing is,
Imagine
like,
that, yeah.
they're men in general are acquiescing to what they are asking for, and their approval of those men is less. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like you're getting the things you're asking for. Now we're all afraid to approach you. We're all said now it's yes means yes. High levels of consent.
Yeah.
You're getting the things you want and hate us more, which was our point in the beginning, which is we need to as men need to be able to maintain boundaries. Obviously, I'm not saying, with the sexual assault stuff, yet no means no, of course. But what I'm saying is, well, we have these situations where if we maintain our boundaries, then it's seen as misogynistic when it really is the only way to maintain a relationship, period. One of those boundaries is I'm going to do things that make me maximally attractive to the opposite sex and successful. And me doing those things, a lot of times it's going to annoy my girlfriend. It's going to annoy her when other like me or find me attractive. And when I get that pushback, now it's like, am I listening to Oprah Winfrey, right? Or am I listening to Rollo Tomasi? Who am I listening to at that moment? Can I maintain my frame? And if I maintain my frame, I say, hey, listen, honey, it's not my fault that others find me attractive. I went to the gym and your friend stared at me. I didn't fuck her, so like I don't understand what you're mad about. I'm not going to apologize to you for that.
The scary part is like men have to overtly do this now. Like you go back, 1956. Like you didn't have to sit there and constantly have to put your in her place or assert dominance all the time.
There was a role.
Yeah,
there
we
was
didn't have to
there was
do
a
that.
social contract.
Yeah, like it was like there was a line. It was an invisible line, but she knew not to cross it. She knew what she could say, what she could do, what she can't do. Blah blah blah. Now it's like all these guardrails are gone, and it's like in 2026, as a guy, you have to constantly demonstrate that you're the boss to them to remind them that they're still the because when they walk outside, they're
Which it fucking sucks, bro. It fucking sucks. We constantly have to be this fucking dominant guy all the fucking time. There is so much fucking energy. Like, it's so tiresome. To be like this all the time, it's so tiresome. But it's necessary at this point. It's unfortunately, but it's
told they can do
necessary.
anything a man can do, right?
Right.
So it's like you're constantly fighting this. I hate to say it, you're constantly fighting feminist propaganda that's indoctrinated into your girl from the time she's a child until
much.
she becomes an adult. She gets in a relationship with you. She responds favorably to your masculinity because that's what she's naturally hardwired to do. When she goes outside, she hears this stupidity again. Oh, I'm a strong boss, babe, and you constantly have to fight this. This is what I've realized, like from talking to these women, is like they're in a weird state where part of them is like, I wanted a guy that could put me on my place,
But at the same
I'm gonna
time,
still be
no.
in it and hope that
Yeah,
I
it
still
makes
find
no-
them. And
it
it's
makes
like,
no
I'm
sense.
sorry, like you know,
You have to pick, or you're the boss babe, or you're an actual female. You have to pick. You cannot be both. That's the reality of things.
you're probably not gonna find them, but it's like this weird, I call it the double dip conundrum, where it's like I want to have the benefits of have a career and be able to be a strong bitch, but at the same time I want a guy that has that too, and it's like you're not gonna get both, man.
I'll
Like,
tell you
yeah,
that.
you're not gonna
here's-
get both.
Okay, so
Yep,
everything.
true.
This is like a conversation we've had before. Like
Yeah.
you and I have this all the time. I've talked to you about this. Like, what's
But they'll enjoy it, so it's fine.
for 6 years now. But the thing is this, and now that I got you here at this table, I want to bring this up. Is we're getting to the point right now when we were talking about the adolescent show, and then of course the Inside the Manosphere with Louis Theroux, and everybody wants to run you up the flagpole. And I'll tell you what's funny is
he added the
of course he did, but because he's looking for the most extreme examples, it literally says that from the beginning, like from the jump. It says I'm looking for the most outlandish, people he can find, right? But
Which is stupid.
so from that whole perspective defines what everybody is applying to the manosphere and the red pill space right now as this is what these guys are about, right? So when we have this conversation, we say you have to perform, right? Your respectability, has to be up to a point where you have to perform to elite levels right now.
Elite
so you got to
levels,
get your
yeah.
money. You've got to be in good shape. You got to run gear. You've got to make X amount of dollars. You got to do all these things. Now people hear that and then they go, "Oh, these guys are just so over the top. They're masculine, supremacists, or they're chauvinists or something like that."
And then you see that and only are sleeping with these 10% of men.
No, and here's the thing that kills.
Like, it's incredible how they say all this shit, but at the end, it's the men they're after. So what? So are you going with what you said or what you're after? Makes no sense.
me is like they'll come at us and give us shit for that.
Yeah.
But then they'll go and they'll look at Alex Cooper playing to 6 to 10 million views per episode, saying exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Or then I got to listen to these like Rob Henderson or these other guys are coming in here saying this is what the master is really saying, and everything that we just said right now, it'll get distorted into something about like, oh well, these guys think that you should just dominate your or what is it? Or like they'll turn like neg hits into, well, you got to insult her because if you insult her, then she'll like you. And it's like it's like there's so much more. There's like 20, 25 years of Mystery Method all the way up to we understand why that works. Nobody's saying insult her. It's a backhanded compliment.
Have you noticed that they don't do boot camps in America anymore?
No, of course not. And so what they do is they just throw this shit out there and they distort it to the point like everything about the conversation that we just had, like right now in the last 5 minutes, it'll get distorted into, well, these guys
it'd be clipped and with no context at all, and then they would say, yeah, you need to do this, and it's like it's something bad to do, and they say, yeah, you need to do this for the woman to like you, which is not true. That's exactly what they do, which is fucking stupid. They shouldn't have do that. They actually should show the whole context of the fucking
say X and
conversation.
It's like, we're basically throwing out information that is pretty much common knowledge. You can go pick it up if you're that interested in it. But because it's coming from us, because it's coming from him or you or me or anybody else who's been in this space for as long as we have, we're misogynists, we're chauvinists, we're toxically masculine or whatever buzzword you want to attach to that. But if you see a chick on TikTok saying exactly the same thing from Theron was on there saying exactly the same thing. Even the girl that we showed on the clip here a little while ago saying she wants to fuck the hot guy, but she can't understand why she can't get the intelligent, funny guy who, like, it's basically cads versus dads. She's saying exactly the same thing, but when she says it, it's like, oh, well, we can't find a nice guy anymore. It's because guys aren't stepping up.
If a woman says it's no problem. If a man says it's misogyny.
We say it's performance based. Your frame is based on performance. Your, you men must become just are. We put it in a different terminology, but they're saying exactly the same thing, but they don't want to have us on the show. They will never have us on there because we ruin their narrative every time we do this. And just us having this right now, I guarantee you there's going to be some clips and these ads are going to clip it and they're going to go, well, see, they're the misogynists we thought they were.
Well, the problem too with these people, right, that I've noticed with like these psychologists and these like, academics or whatever, the problem with academia, and I've noticed this from going to college campuses. See, this is why I want to have this conversation with you guys.
They want to say it and we're saying it already, so they go, don't listen to those guys.
Because I couldn't have this conversation with these bro. Like, I just had to get them out of here. They were annoyed and they were pissing me off. I was like, get the fuck out of here. I want to talk about these real shit with these guys. So I've noticed this when I go to the schools, like with academia in general.
Yeah.
It's becoming dominated, and it's getting to a point now.
Female dominated,
dominated where psychologists and people that do stats and people that do these studies, they don't even want to do certain studies that will put in an unfavorable light because it's dominated by females, right?
True.
And they try to do this with Jordan Peterson, get him off the board. And psychology is starting to become dominated by, and since it's becoming more dominated by, guys can't even run real tests.
I could give you numbers anymore. On that. The psychology in all theaters, in all areas of psychology, whether it's research or it's psychotherapy or whatever else, since 2018 or 2017, they were already showing, it was the APA, as a matter of fact, the American Psychological Association, were giving these numbers as the gender skew. This was in 2018. I have this like in one of my Twitter bookmarks, as a matter of fact. But it had, by 2018, it had already been a decade long to have them all in to have women in those positions in every aspect of psychology.
Yeah, and I've seen this, like I said, like women dominating the psychology field, and then obviously when you put the lens on things, now you can't be as objective. Now you have to be cognizant of feelings and not coming off as a misogynist, because there is a deep fear I'm realizing in the field of psychology of like coming off as like misogynistic or bigoted or whatever, and obviously that's going to affect how you do studies and how you do things, because you don't want to come off in a certain way. You want to get funding. Are they going to fund you if you come off as a misogynist? Probably not. And the other thing also is with that said, with these fields being more dominated, even the guys that are coming in, you mentioned a couple of these weirdo that are over here saying like, oh well, these guys in red pill are extreme or they're wrong or whatever, and it's like, no dude, because we're blending the psychology and the studies with like practical reality of like how actually move in 2026, and they don't like that because it's not like, you know, a peer-reviewed study. Well, guess what? Let's be honest. Are we going to get a peer-reviewed study? We're going to be honest about their sexual proclivities? Of course not.
They're never going to say.
Well, like for
never.
instance, like, and I have fought against this every time I have to deal with this, but like because we encounter the same problem. But one of the things that everyone was saying is like, well, you have those on there and you're cherry picking them because you're
that makes me more angry.
Get on
Nothing
there.
makes me more angry when it's
People
like
need
every
to
girl
know
on your
this.
show's a sex worker. Remember that one time we had, hey guys, how many of you guys have an OnlyFans? Nobody on the show raised their hand. And I was like, I guarantee you no one will clip this. No one will show this because your narrative has to be, even like, I love Deborah So's new book, Sextinction. It's a terrific book. But even she talked about ditzy girls on these shows. No, this is not ditzy girls. I talked to thousands of this is in general. It's not that they literally don't have the horsepower to understand these concepts. It's just they are so distracted because social media has melted their brain. It has caused an amazing level of brain rot. And you might say, well, why isn't it happening to men? Because men don't use social media as much as they don't suffer from depression, ADHD, or neurotic behavior or neurotic tendencies because of social media. The data is clear. It's not my data. It's Jonathan Haidt's data. It's not my data. It's Deborah So's data. These are political progressive liberals. This is Richard Reeves' data. The child care gap, the pay wage gap. It's not real. I didn't say that. The head of the senior fellow at the Brookings Institute, he's the one who said that, not me. And so when I repeat these things, then it's like, well, you know, what you're saying is misogynistic. Well, it can't be misogynistic if it's true. And I understand, like, by the way, like there are guys in this space who say things that are misogynistic. I totally understand that. That's not my issue.
They're all in the chat.
Yeah, my issue is if I say something that you don't like, it cannot be bigoted if it's true. It cannot be if it's true. That's the whole issue that I have. But yeah, well, like to what he's saying before, there's a lot of peer-reviewed data you're never going to get. That's why that one study I was talking about with the top 10% most promiscuous guys, that study comes from GSS data, where you just do the math after the fact, post-mortem. You go back and look at the data and you can come up with those numbers. That's the only way you could do that, and you have to live in another country to be able to pull that off. And so when you do that, then it actually works. But you're right, a lot of these things, the Institute for Family Studies does have a bit of a conservative bent to it.
Like
it leans slightly right.
Christian,
yeah, righty
so
and that's
stuff,
why you're able to do those to do that data. For those of you who don't know, the IFS did a study showing that who cheated in a relationship had 230% more sexual partners than who did not cheat in a relationship. And so you see these numbers, and it's like, hey, you know that whole thing that Project Pat said about don't turn into a housewife? Turns out there's data to support that, but you can't. It's still true. It's like you can't.
But if it comes from you,
but if it comes from me, then it's a problem.
If it comes from the woman, it's good.
That,
From
like,
the man,
people don't understand also is like they'll get mad and they'll say, oh, you got these on your show, because that's the same criticism I get. What they don't get is like the only difference between like a regular chick and an OnlyFans girl, or like a regular girl that does, you know, social media, or a regular girl that does any type of like entertainment or sex work, is like the sex worker, the OnlyFans girl, etc. They're just going to be more pronounced in the way they do things.
Sure.
Like it doesn't change the fact that like they have the same natural attraction triggers, proclivities, whatever. It's just that the OnlyFans girl or the streamer or the entertainer, they might just be a bit more ostentatious about it, but that doesn't change the fact that like they're both like still looking for the same guy.
The thing, if anybody's watching this and you think that the chicks that were here were like cherry picked just so that we could like dump them off the show, we do this. We have to. You know how hard it is to book girls in
Vegas?
that
part is hard too. But
or in God forbid, like Santa Barbara for whatever. It's insane.
I have an idea. If we're wrong, then some other content creator. It's very simple how you can prove us all wrong. You do your own panel show and you cherry pick for who have master's degrees, hyper intellectual, no sex workers. You do that, and you're going to do about one episode. You're going to get about halfway through one episode and come to the realization that the answers are not similar. They're exactly the same as the answers that you're going to see here. And when you see a who legitimately has a PhD in psychology and she can't name 3 countries, then you will finally come to the realization that there is no cherry picking here. It is not a function of a lack of intelligence.
It's
data
shocking,
shows,
by the way.
And in men on average have about.
Yeah, I've seen many people, especially women, that somehow they have these degrees that are better than mine and they cannot even name 3 countries. It's fucking incredible. It's fucking funny shit. I've seen many times.
Not the same
It's
IQ.
very, very
That is
funny.
not the reason. The problem is there's this icing on the cake, this magical thinking, this feeling, vibe, magical thinking that colludes. Again,
Energy.
if I have 140 IQ, but I'm suffering from schizophrenia, how can I use my IQ? It's polluted. The problem is what's happened is the brain rot, specifically from social media, is causing who have the intellectual horsepower to still not be able to grasp these concepts because the feels come into it. You want a job in STEM, but you believe in astrology. How is that real? How can I don't understand how we can even do this. You believe in 5 love languages, and you how the fuck am I supposed to take you seriously when you do this stuff? And so that's where the issue is.
Well, I was going to say that whenever and this just recently came up because of the Louis Theroux fallout and everything that came in the wake
All right, turn
of
on
that.
all the other streams. Let's go. We're having a real conversation now. Thank God we got rid of the
all
women.
of this, okay, came in the wake of it, and Big Mo knows exactly what happened, right? Because I did. I was on Access Vegas one time, and people were throwing that at us, saying you cherry pick these. Well, what people don't know is that you guys have been keeping track of all the girls that have been on this show, where they're from, what their degrees are, what country they're from, what state they are from, and I mean for the last
They're pretty much all the
6
same.
years. And every time I get this topic, I go and I hit a Big Mo and I go, text me the list again, so I can go throw out the numbers here and prove you wrong again.
Here's the issue.
And again.
If you were able to only, let's just say we were able to take artificial intelligence, go through the answers of every girl who was on here who was not a virtual sex worker, an actual sex worker. We only listened to who had master's degree education or higher, and we only collated the answers to just those. We did this for whatever podcast, Fresh and Fit, and we did it for Access Vegas, and then Cooley's. What's his podcast? I forgot what it's called.
No Fugazi.
No Fugazi. We'll say we did No Fugazi, we did Fresh and Fit, we did whatever podcast, Access Vegas, and we only took who had master's degree or higher. The problem that you're going to find very quickly is it's the same answers.
Let me tell you the difference between
It's the
educated
same thing,
and regular. The educated are going to be more 10 toes down on their stupidity and more 10 toes down on delusion. So like I've debated the professor at University of Florida, right? And this chick was actually, I don't know if she was a TA or full-on professor, but when I said, yeah, men and women are different biologically, like men are superior in this way, like she was like, what? Like she couldn't even concede that men are.
There's no way a woman that is a teacher didn't accept or did not believe that a man is, for example, superior physically than a woman. Bro, it's biologically been proven that men are twice as strong than a woman. Bro, you cannot say that it's false. Bro, it's the truth. We're stronger. Like what? We have more bone intensity than women. It's been proven. We have more lung capacity. It's been proven. Like, bruh, you cannot deny stuff that is proved that is true. It just makes no sense.
Physically superior to women.
Yeah.
Like,
What?
if you can't concede that, then we aren't even living on the same planet, and we can't even have a conversation because you can't even acknowledge a biological fact. So, if you can't acknowledge that, then there's nothing to build off
You're
of.
having
And this is where we're going in academia. It's being dominated by women to the point where they are muddying the waters of biological realities, right? Because, as usual, when it comes to progressive leftist, this like super woke ideology, it can't actually stand the test of truth and evidence or empiricism. It has to deal with make believe and feels and whatever.
Yeah, it's more feels
Who
instead of
would
truth.
any of the three of us not debate? Who would any of us not debate? I can name for you 100 people who would not debate us.
Yeah.
Is it because we don't exist and you've never heard? You are so terrified to debate us.
I don't even
I'm
wanna call
curious. Hold on, Louis. Just out of curiosity, why didn't you ask me on your show? I'm curious why you did that. I'll tell you why. Because every
He's
other
gonna cut
word,
out every time, make him look bad.
every
He did that to
other
me.
word out of my mouth, every other word out of my mouth would have been a peer-reviewed study. Every other word. I know what you're going to do because you're like the fourth guy to try to do it to me. But you knew that too, which is why you stayed away from me and Rolo. You knew every word out of our mouth was going to be a peer-reviewed study, and we don't call names ever. You would have had no luck with us. You interviewed Logan Duong. Yeah, you did, Louis. You interviewed Logan Duong, and Logan did not give you any answers you wanted, and so you cut him completely out of your show. And I'll tell you
That's
one other
stupid,
thing.
bro.
Shout out to Justin Waller.
For people who don't know what he's talking about, we did an interview. We did a show with Logan where he was telling us the whole
They
story
were trying
about that.
so
Well, he cut out the majority of the interview with him too, where I explained everything to him. Polygamy, all this other stuff. Cut all that out. Thankfully, I recorded my own part and I showed it, and it was like, oh, there's a whole other thing. But
I did the same thing with CBS. Shout out to you guys. They were really nice to me, but I recorded the whole thing with the DJI. I had it inside my pocket.
Oh, they want to interview us. I said no. We have to record our own thing. They wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
because we said we're going to record our
that's
thing.
That's exactly what Logan said. Something similar. But I want to say this other thing, Louis. Guys, can you do for all of you who are still left here? Put a 1 in the chat if you know this isn't true. If Louis Theroux's wife allowed him to have the same arrangement that Justin Waller's wife had, that he wouldn't take it in 1 second. Put a 1 in the chat if you know that if Louis Theroux's wife was like, honey, I want to start having threesomes with you, that all of a sudden Louis Theroux and his like progressive wokeness would be like, no, I would never have threesomes with you, honey. That's incredible. If you know that isn't true, put a 1 in the chat. No, Louis, if you try to make Justin Waller look bad, you gravely underestimated what the rest of us thought. I saw a man who has 3 beautiful children with a wife who loves him in a beautiful house in Louisiana. I'm sorry, you lost on that one. That one was the most ridiculous one of all of them to me.
Yeah.
So because we do get that criticism a lot from these guys that like, you know, claim to be whatever. I remember there was like this redhead that would always go at me on TikTok saying XYZ. And you know what I like? The data is finally starting to catch up to what we've been saying, right? You gave this data before about 58% of the were having sex with like
their sexual relations, meaning their individual occurrences of sex were happening with the top 10% most promiscuous men. Do the math if you guys want to look at it.
And that's the women that are being honest.
Yeah, yes.
That's the crazy part.
Right.
It's only more than that.
Yeah.
Right? This is just the women that are being honest. What have we been saying forever? You know, first it was like, maybe 20% of the guys were having sex with 80% of the women. Maybe the OK Cupid thing is right. As we've predicted, it's been getting less and less and less. You know what else I've noticed? As we have more and more of these girls on the show, they become ruder and ruder and ruder. And then I'm seeing as the women are becoming ruder and ruder and ruder, and their expectations go up and up and up, less and less men are getting laid. And that's why we're coming into this where I think at this point, you know, they're saying 10%. I'd argue it's probably even less than that. You know, we're being charitable saying 10%. So, and then, you know, you add in the fact that like the alcohol, right? That's a huge component because a lot of guys, let's be honest, have a difficult time with talking to women without some liquid courage.
Sure.
It used to be, I'm going to go out on the weekend, I'm going to drink, I'm going to go meet some, etc. 20, 30 years ago, which I'm sure you guys could probably talk about nightlife in the 90s versus now. But there's been a huge drop off from 1991 to life, or the 1990s to now when it comes to talking to and going to the club, because women now are more concerned with like social media, taking pictures, conveying a certain lifestyle
about dumb
versus
shit.
actually meeting men. And you know, and that's where when it's like the hierarchy of priorities when they're going out. First is validation, then it's pictures, then it's getting some free drinks, maybe getting some opportunities, whatever. And I would argue that men are like 6th, 7th, 8th on the list, and those guys that are 6th, 7th, 8th on the list are like top tier guys only, like the best looking guys that can offer us something. Maybe they got a section, whatever. So it's like for the average guy, I think a lot of them are waking up. You know, obviously we've seen the red pill explode over the past 5 or 6 years, and I find it interesting how as the red pill's gotten more popular, what have guys been doing? I need to lock in. I need to make more money. I need to get in the gym. I'm not going to drink alcohol like that anymore because it doesn't serve me, right? Because I'm going out, I'm spending all this money, and the girls don't even want to be with me, and we have to kind of wake the... I do think that a big part of the reason why young men aren't drinking as much is because of the, you know, explosion of popularity on TikTok. When I go up and people come and ask me for a picture, I like to ask them all the time, how'd you find me?
Yeah, of course.
Instagram, TikTok, every single time. I've
Yeah,
been on TikTok for
100%.
years. Instagram, I'm banned.
100%.
I'm not on there right now. So that means that the clips are going viral. They're getting shared because guys are waking up and realizing what's going on. And I think the most telltale stat here is that men and women between 18 and 25, the women are drinking more and they're binge drinking at the same level. And men, they're drinking, and it's only like maybe 1 or 2% that the men are drinking less. But that's huge compared to before. It was always men that were drinking excessively. But now we're seeing the are drinking at the same rate and the men have dropped off. What does that tell you? Well, guys are kind of waking up and realizing that nightlife and alcohol in general it just doesn't serve them because it's young men that are kind of dropping off.
What I'm looking at right now is and like you can apply.
How much did they lose? The last thing I'll say. How much did they used to work in the liquor industry? How much money is billions that they've lost, right? Over
of
the
course,
past.
yeah. Well, I mean, we were even when I was working in wine and spirits, we were watching the drop off happen, where from guys and win more. In fact, we had to actually cater advertising and marketing for. You know when it started? It started during Sex and the City, because Appletinis and Cosmos and all that. And we were drinking more and more and more after that. And there was even, I remember.
So you saw this trend in the early 2000s?
Yeah, I was still working at Van Gogh Vodka when this was happening. And
what
so,
the
like when I
fuck?
worked in wine and spirits, the marketing was directed towards, because that's where the money was at that time. And there's, shows like Sex and the City was certainly a catalyst for that. But then you notice over time, there was more and more who were drinking We even I remember one time we had there was a push for what, skinny girl vodka or skinny, I don't know if it's still around, but there's like
What?
they
Jennifer
wanted,
Aniston.
Yeah, you couldn't call it a diet kind of liquor, but
Yeah.
that was one marketing thing. It's been going on really since the mid 2000s as far as alcohol is concerned. But what I was going to say is I don't know if you've seen this. Well, I know you have, but recently there's been some statistics shown of, I think it was from like 2000 all the way up to 2026, and they look at the level of like conservatism versus liberalism, like on the line there.
Yes.
And there's a line for men and there's a line for
Yes, have become more liberal.
30. Well, it dropped a little bit off recently, but at one point, I think it was in 2021, you're looking at a 30-point difference.
Yes.
From liberal, wokesy liberal to men who have stayed relatively constant. But the thing is they want to, I mean, as far, popular media, whatever, popular culture wants to present the idea that men have become radicalized, that all these men have suddenly become these super conservative MAGA, foaming at the mouth, we got to get back into the kitchen and we got to repeal the 19th and everything you could possibly think of as being this really horribly conservative, caveman mentality that they can exaggerate to the point of exhaustion. The thing is that it's not men who have really changed their political bent all that much.
Yeah,
it's
true.
who have changed more drastically towards the liberal. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because we live in a gynocentric social order, because we base our social understanding, the norms, on a correct experience of life.
True.
Because we think of things in terms of what serves her needs, everything else. What we've done is we've taken that and we've made that the normative. So if our 30 points skewed towards the left, that gulf between men and looks like men have become radicalized because are just normal. We
Yes.
haven't done
Yes.
anything. And so now those guys seem like they've been radicalized by you, by me,
Yes.
by him, by everybody else. The fact of the matter is that no, it's who have skewed more towards the wokesy side of things. And I know I'm going to quote Helen Thomas right now, or Helen Andrews, because of the psyche that collectivism, egalitarianism, communitarianism, all the stuff she's talking about when it comes to psychology, the academia, whether it's the workplace, everything she talks about in different sectors of society have become more feminized. And I'll take her to the task on here. It actually started in the late 90s. It didn't start like in the last, since 2020. I think we've been paying more attention to it since 2020, but it started way before then. But because the experience is the correct way to think about things, anything that deviates from that seems like radicalism. Anything that deviates from a norm looks like it's those toxically masculine on Fresh and Fit and Access Vegas and all the rest of these guys. And we're the ones who are on DHS watch lists because of that, right? Now, that's a political stance. Now, take that and put that into just social stuff. Put that into entrepreneurship, put that into psychology, put that into the law, put that into, like, if you look at all the sectors where have sort of moved in and dominated, anything that deviates from that norm, that 30-point skewed norm, is now seems like aberrant. It seems like there's something very wrong with those guys. So when we talk about, like, and this drives me insane, and it does, like, whenever one brings up, oh yeah, emotional intelligence, and I have to point out and say,
bro, emotional intelligence does not exist. Bro, just control your emotions. Like, what?
There's no such thing as
that does not exist. That doesn't exist.
Their minds. Why? Because
does not exist, bro.
Experience is the norm, and men are just you need therapy. So men going to therapy are sexy. Why is that? Because there's that gulf between men and women when it comes to that ideology in the political sense. But that political ideology is also reflective of just the narrative, the social fabric that we have right now. So it's not just politics; it's the difference in how men and think are correct, because the narrative, the gynocentric social order, is the correct way to think, and anything that a guy thinks is wrong. You need therapy. Well, you need to be fixed.
Well, there's one other part, which is the narrative. Whatever the narrative is, it's shifting more. This is like such a key point. are affected more by social media than men.
Oh, yeah.
There's nobody, like,
100%.
even
They
people on
use
the
it
left
more.
agree with this
100%, bro.
concept. And so if your viewpoint can be changed, it's just we as men, because of individualism, I don't know if you want to call it testosterone or whatever, the stoicism and our immovability or our immutability, we're less affected in general, especially the thought leaders, by stuff we see on social media. We just are. I'm not saying that there aren't people who are radicalized. Obviously, there wouldn't be flat Earth if people weren't stupid enough to believe it's on social media. But in general, women are moved more, and that data from New Statesman is part of what proved it.
Right.
We're supposed to be the ones who hate women, but 7% of men had a negative view of 21% of had a negative view of men, and I kept showing all this data about 62 million men joined the academy, about all these men of these one clip after. There's 100 clips right now you guys can find of saying men should start in jail and work their way out.
Yep.
And nobody
What
cares.
the
And right now,
fuck?
if you guys want to have some fun, let's do some right now. Do me an experiment if you don't believe this is true. Right now, I want you guys to go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts and look up a podcast called Kill All Men. Go ahead and look up that.
I have to, bro. I have to. There's no way that's a thing, bro. There's no way. Wait, no. No way. No, get the fuck out of here. Holy shit. Wait, what?
Podcast and tell me if it's still up there, because nobody took it down. And then I want you to consider, I'm not even going to say it on Rumble, if I made a podcast called Kill All.
Spotify, how is this all down? They're literally saying kill all men. Hello? If a man said kill all women, they would be fucking destroyed. What the fuck? It's actually there. There's episodes. How many? Holy shit. How is it not down? They're explicitly showing that Dark isn't here anymore. I mean, I expected that. But they're explicitly showing that what they want to do. Or what they're saying. The fuck? Spotify, why the fuck is that not that? What? I didn't even know that was a thing. Bro, women are fucking not good in their head, bro. Like, let's be honest. What the fuck?
The other thing, what would happen to me? If you honestly,
can't even say
Bro. If a man would say the same thing, but for women, he would be tarnished. He would never exist. Ever. He would die from saying that. Holy shit. The fact that women can just say kill all men on the internet and they get no punishment for it, it's fucking outrageous. Shame.
I want you to consider. I want you to consider.
What the fuck?
We're back on. We're back on all the platforms.
Okay, we're back again.
We're back on Kick and everywhere
Everything
else.
else, all right.
Because I want people to hear this conversation because it's very important. Sure. And then we also need to react to the and Reach situation. Get rid of the so that we can
Let's
have a real
do it.
discussion.
Sure.
I want
What
you guys
the
to consider
fuck,
how
bro?
many forces are against us. I am, of the three of us, I'm probably the most moderate, and I have been demonetized, I have been ratioed, and I have been deplatformed. I want you to consider all the things that are against us. And then I'm going to tell you guys a story, okay? I'm not going to tell you what their
And
names
look
are.
at people like Chris Williamson.
Yes.
How are they still, you gotta, the thing is that you can't be blunt and as honest as you want to be.
Yes.
If you want to talk about this
Chris
topic.
is-
You have to dance around it. Did you know he did an interview with Tate and he
Yes,
shelved it?
yes.
Oh, yeah?
Chris,
What a
Chris so desperately wants to say what the truth is, but he knows he can't because of the way he knows.
He knows better.
For instance, if it was a
Wait,
situation.
hold on, Doc, for 1 second. Just to give you a quick one. Jay Shetty, when Jim,
It's not just Jay Shetty.
James Sexton was on with Jay Shetty, and he was using our names. Like he was actually saying Rollo Tomasi and Mike Sartain for like 5 or 7 minutes on the most recent interview that he did with Jay Shetty. Jay Shetty cut out every
No, Jay, it wasn't
mention of
just just Jay
names.
Shetty. He went on Diary of
I don't even
a-
know who the fuck this guy
Yeah,
is.
he went on Diary of a
Jay Shetty.
CEO. Guys, every time James Sexton goes on a show and he mentions us, they cut it out of the show. It happens over and over again. If I'm wrong, then debate me.
That's
Please.
insane, dude.
Just debate. If I'm wrong, then have me on your show and just have your... The reason why you don't want me on your show is not because your audience isn't going to like me. The reason you don't want me on your show is because your audience is. I'm going to start to make sense, and you're not going to know, Tom Bilyeu's wife, you're not going to know how to square the circle when what I say, I won't use any profanity. I won't say nothing. I'm going to go on there and it's going to be 25 peer-reviewed data sets after another. And I'm going to quote from books written by political leftists agreeing with every single thing I say. And you're not going to have any counter argument. So you won't have me on your show. Tell me who I won't debate. Tell me who I was on this stage sitting right here against Destiny right here. Who will I not debate? But you don't want me on there. And that's the problem, because you understand what's going to happen. And by the way, that's why Charlie Kirk got shot, because he wasn't afraid to debate anyone. And he kept making people look worse and worse and worse. And so that's essentially what's going on here, guys. Think about all the people, all the pressure against us, all the demonetization, all these times. And then I'm going to tell you guys a story, okay? And you guys can probably figure out who these two people are if you try hard enough. I have two friends. One of them took my program, Men of Action, and the other one is just a guy who's a buddy of mine who used to be a pickup artist. Both of them have changed to turn into full pandering. All they do is make content that's pandering. They don't believe in anything they're saying, Myron. They know that what they're saying is one of them has 900,000 followers on TikTok, and the other one has 300,000 followers on TikTok. And they fully know that what they're saying is complete and total. And the algorithm explodes for them. Hundreds of thousands of new followers and views because they say pandering stuff. Chris GQ Perry comes out there and says that you should leave your man. Can tell if your man is cheating on you because of a dream that you had. Dream?
Bro.
How is this shit not taken down? How is there not context added to that? There's still thousands of videos up there saying 62 million men joined a academy and they haven't been taken down. How is this possible? If we're so wrong and everyone is trying to demonetize us and get rid of us, if we're so wrong, why are we still here? Why do we still exist? Why do so many people listen to us and watch us? Unless what's happened is they go outside and they come to the realization that their experience is exactly what we've been describing. They go on dating apps and they get 6 matches for every 1,000 right swipes. They get ignored. We'll sit there and break up with them and they get the ick, and they'll get ghosted by who really shouldn't even be, like, they shouldn't even be given these a chance. You have men who will make tons of money, incredibly good shape, and they have to work so hard just to get an average to go out with them. They're having the same experience that we've been describing. If what we're saying is so wrong, then why haven't we disappeared? If what we're saying is so wrong, why won't you debate us?
I don't even want a debate. I just want a conversation. Just put us on the same.
I was going to say,
because we
a
ruin
lot of
their
these
narrative.
people,
That's why.
I will say this: a lot of these people, like, in the, I guess you could say, like, the academia side of intersexual dynamic discussions, they're blackballing us for sure. I know, because I had asked Jerry Bliss to come on. I didn't get a response, whatever. And it's like, dude, we have a big platform. You don't want to come on. But that tells me that, like, they're more terrified of the association, even though it would be beneficial to them, because associating with, I know you were able to get them on, but you're a bit more analytical. Yeah. You're not as politically incorrect as me. Whether, or like Chris Williamson, it's like you talk to all these no names, right? All these people that are completely irrelevant. On this topic, no one knows who they are. They have no following. 1,000 people on Twitter here, maybe a YouTube channel with 500 followers here. No motion, but you constantly bring them on and they bash us, and you don't even allow us to go on there and defend ourselves.
Right.
That's what. Look, Chris Williamson, Diary with CEO, Jerry, but all these guys, these academics that they are claiming to be. I don't care if you guys don't like us or whatever. Don't bring people on your show that bash us all the time, right? Sometimes by name, and then not allow us to come on and defend ourselves. And the thing also is, like, because here's the thing I want to say. There's obviously been a very strong shift against this. As this topic has exploded in popularity since 2021, right? I would say with the rise of us, Andrew Tate, you guys, and this stuff has become more and more mainstream, right? And because we kind of blew up when we brought you guys, we were like, yo, Andrew Roll, all of us come, you guys, let's wake everybody up. Like, let's make this thing. It started, that's when I remember when I was going like viral on TikTok talking about this stuff, because it was an unheard concept to put in their place in 2021. That's why we're going super viral.
I remember that, man. I remember when I was on here, and
I remember that shit.
Otep Jesus, but then you had like Aaron Clary, myself. You start getting all these other guys that are on here,
and then we started blowing up on TikTok.
Keep going, bro. We need to wake up everyone up, bro. Let's fucking go, bro.
building
start
and
talking
building.
to- talk-
Dude,
talking to girls.
I remember when you guys got to 100,000, and then I got to 100,000 the month after.
Yeah.
And I was on the show when that happened
Yeah,
too.
and
We were
I'll tell
just,
you
like,
why.
bringing us
The
along,
Manosphere.
man. Yeah, it was
Now that I
picking
can
up
look
steam.
back on it, the problem why the Manosphere, like the Red Pill or whatever, all this content never blew up or took off, even though it was based in truth, is because guys would look at a camera, complain about all day. That's all they did. Suck, Red Pill this, hypergamy this, MGTOW, blah blah. They would just sit there and bitch about all day. We came in and we said, you know what? Yes, we know they're annoying. Here's a solution, and on top of that, let me show you guys in real time how these think about you. That's when everybody started, because it's one thing for us to talk about, hey, here's the Red Pill truth about. Like, for example, I'll talk about how, like, girls, have certain things on Instagram to purport a certain lifestyle because they're trying to have social status. Then we bring girls on, and then they confirm it on the show. We do a Womanizer Wednesday. We cover a Red Pill topic. Then we bring girls on, and then they're seeing with their own two eyes say exactly what we told them on the show. That's powerful. And then that sort of stuff started to go viral. People started to wake up. We bring you on the show. We bring Andrew Tate on, blah, blah. And it starts blowing up. Then you get people like, whatever podcast saying, we want to do this new Fugazi, fine, whatever. They copy the format, no issue, because more people are waking up. I don't really give a shit about that, because the more guys we wake up, the better. So this stuff starts to take off, right? Then they realize, oh, the genie's out the bottle. We got to do something. Obviously, Andrew Tate is the most prominent guy in this thing. What did they do? We got to put him in jail. The UK put a full ban on him. This guy is influencing young guys to go in and say, and what color's your Bugatti? This is bad. So then we started seeing the systemic censorship of this type of content. First it starts with Andrew Tate, get him out of here, ban him off everything. Then they demonetize us. Then they demonetize Pearl. They demonetize you guys. The only people that really were that didn't get attacked by this were the like Chris Williamson, etc. That like, okay, we know that these guys are right, but on purpose of us preserving our platform, we have to like admonish them and then not platform them. And like that's why like Chris Williamson couldn't ignore Andrew.
So much so that they will delete the mention of your name.
Yeah, and this is what made me realize that these
Fucking
guys
crazy, bro.
Obviously, Andrew was like the most legal man on earth, right? So you could not ignore that. You had to, have him on at some point. But he's so much of a coward that he brought Andrew on and he shelved the interview. He shelved the interview, and I was like, wow, like you are that scared of getting a different perspective that isn't, tainted by or tainted by the gynocentric, source order of political correctness, that you kept them out, and then you haven't. And then other thing that annoys me is like you haven't talked to anyone prominent in the sphere, but you bash people from the sphere all the time, and it's like,
yeah, that's my biggest issue. Like I'll be honest with you. Myron, let's just say,
piss me off.
Let's just say,
don't bring people to talk shit about us.
Exactly.
That's what gets me angry.
Let's just say I disagree with everything you have to say. I disagree with everything you have to say, Rollo. Let's just say I feel that way. I still, being an independent observer, still think it's. If it, like Chris, if you want to have these discussions about intersexual dynamics, that's totally fine. But when you bring people on to talk about these ideas and you don't let us defend ourselves on your show, there's no way, even your audience has to see the hypocrisy there. That is so insane to me.
That's why he's losing views. That's why nobody wants to watch that shit anymore.
He's not a debater. So it's not, I've never done a debate, or at least that I've seen. So I wouldn't put him in, because that's what would happen if he tried to challenge our beliefs. And I understand that. And I don't mind if Chris doesn't want to have me or you on. Yeah, I get it.
I don't care. Yeah.
If he had you on, half his staff would probably get up and walk out. I get that.
Yeah.
Chris, you're forgiven. Whatever. Your land acknowledgments, I get it. The problem is, if you're going to do that, then stop talking about us.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I was going to say, is just stop talking about us. And the problem,
they go in and say, like, Sadia Khan goes over there and just rails on all of us.
Yes.
And a couple other people as well. They literally go in there and they just rail on us. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, this is. Like, you're bringing them in here.
Or I think a lot of the times, I think they understand, and I think bigger names,
and it's constantly,
like for lack of a better term, A-list podcasters, they know that their audience wants to hear about this. They know that their audience, hey, what's this manosphere? They can't ignore the fertility crisis. They can't ignore the male loneliness thing. They can't ignore marriage rates. They can't ignore the quote unquote gender divide. However you want to carve that out. They can't ignore those. It's become to the point where it's so epic, it's so unignorable now that they still because they know that they can make, they can get numbers, they can get engagement for doing those shows, but they can't bring us on to talk about those topics. So who do they get? Louise Perry, again and again, and I'm I'm bored.
I don't even know these people.
I'm bored.
I don't even know these people,
because it's the seventh or eighth time she's been on there.
They're published authors who publish things.
Louise Perry is. She's a journalist. She's not a psychology. I mean, at least Huberman has a, he's Huberman, right? But even when he's on there with Huberman's saying something to the effect like, oh, it's great when you have when you take a girl on a date and you move to like 3 different venues or something like that. And you know, it's psychologically it creates this narrative like you have a longer date or there's more emotional investment, whatever. He goes through the psychology of this. First thing out of Chris Williams' mouth is oh yeah, it's like those pickup artists back in the day. They weaponized this back then. I'm like, when Mystery talks about it in 2005, it's weaponized. But when Andrew Huberman talks about it in 2026, it's just the way things are. It's just it has more legitimacy. I'm like, why is one weaponized and the other one not?
Let me tell you this. This is the real problem.
They're the manosphere and he's not the manosphere.
This is the real problem. And this we can actually use this to perfectly segue into Reach. They know that the information is correct. And since they know that the information is correct and we're correct on our assessment on the current dating marketplace, and to be honest with you, I think we've been ahead of the curve. We've talked about being hypergamous and getting a minority of the men saying that, girls are probably hooking up with maybe less than 10% or less than the men. Now the study comes out a couple of days ago that vindicates what we're saying. We're seeing a lower consumption of alcohol. We're seeing the male loneliness. We're seeing 1/3 of guys completely sexless at this point, which is, I think, is it even less than back in 2020 study? Or
no, the 2018 study that we showed before was at 23%, and now we're at I think 31 or 32%.
So everything is going as we've been saying or predicting. They can't debate the topic. So what they have to do is they have to attack the people. They'll call me a misogynist. They'll call you guys pseudoscientists or misogynists or whatever. And then this perfectly segues into someone like an Abba and Preach, who have made a career on attacking, right, people like us. When I went on Flagrant, the first thing that Akash and Andrew Schultz say, well, isn't this a little extreme? This is kind of crazy. What do you mean have these traits or whatever? I'm like, look, they have these certain traits that, 187 pounds on average. They have the stereotypes, etc. We don't date them. It is what it is. Well, why do you think the way that you do about? Well, you got to understand that the sexual marketplace has changed. More selective. Blah blah blah. Oh, well, you guys are immature. You guys are stupid. Simps and pimps. That's. And then fast forward a couple of years, his wife is the exact same type of demographic that I tell guys to avoid.
Textbook
and
example.
She's embarrassing him all over the place, talking about frat boys. This, I was popping my that, blah blah. So we were right. So and then Abba and Preach. Oh, these red pill guys don't know what they're talking about. They're extremists, whatever. What's Abba? What's going on with Abba? He around and he thought he was impervious to
exactly
nature.
The same thing we talked about.
And it comes back to what it is. They're more concerned with us than the message that we're trying to put out here, which we're fucking correct.
They're they're anti-manosphere. Do you understand? Like even to a certain extent, Chris Williamson, he's anti-manosphere. What do you stand for? Well, nothing. Not really. I don't stand for anything. What is your position? I'm anti-manosphere. But what does that mean? Like, what do you stand for? Like, what is the solution that you have to these problems? Well, I don't have a solution. I don't really understand anything. Like, do you understand? Like, their entire position is to negate another position. With Abba and Preach, like, part of the issue is like you understand, because they didn't say what we said, they had a boost from the algorithm we didn't have. Yeah. They weren't canceled the way that we were canceled. But here's the problem. They kept trying to cancel other people. Just same thing that Therapy Jeff did. Let me cancel all these other people. Same thing with the other thing about the Akash thing with Andrew Schultz is that they were bigger at that time. They were a bigger platform than you, and they're not anymore. But they were a bigger platform than you, and they're not only are they telling you you're wrong and that they're right, they're punching down on you. Yep. That is the part that is the craziest to me. You're punching down on someone so that you can tell them that you're right and they're wrong, and never even considered for a fact that you might be wrong. And then when you get embarrassed like this, it's like you sit there and try to defend yourself. No, you shouldn't have punched down. You're not going to find me doing this to anyone, because I know someday I'm going to screw up, and when I screw up, they're going to come after me. But I never try to get anyone canceled, even people who lie about me. I don't want your account taken away. I'm going to call you out for being a liar. I can defend myself. I don't need your account. I don't need you to be reported. And that's the issue. It's like, even with all these, even like we're Sisyphus pushing the boulder up the hill, bro. And even with us pushing this boulder up the hill, with all this pressure against us, why are we still here? If everything, you can't sit there and say that if I made pandering content that the algorithm doesn't help me, and that if I make man pandering content, or if I make content that's red pill, that the algorithm doesn't hurt me. You can't make that argument anymore. Everyone knows that's the truth. Yeah, and even with that, why are we still here? How are we still here after all of this, after the boulder keeps rolling over us again and again and again? Why are we still here? And its reason why is because intelligent men who are in good shape and make a lot of money walk outside, and even they can't get a girl. Even they can't get a girl. And now
that is true, by the way. That is 100% true. A lot of people, a lot of men, they're good men, in shape, make a lot of money and shit, and they cannot get a woman that they cannot. They just can't. They cannot find a woman that they actually want. That is so true. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth. That is so true. Yeah, it's true.
Now it's come to the realization like, oh, damn, can't deny him. And this has happened to you, and it's happened to you, and it's happened to me more than 1,000 times. Yo, bro, I watch your stuff, but I can't let people at my job know that I watch your stuff. I share your content, but I can't like your stuff. I have so many videos on Instagram that have more shares than likes. Go look it up if you don't believe me. They can't let their friends know that they like my Yo, man, I go out there and it's just so crazy. I can't deal with these. It's so nuts, but don't. I can't talk it because I work at a law firm and I can't say this shit.
Alright, guys. Keep going.
And I can't do anything. Dude, shout out to James Sexton for at least associating with us,
Right.
considering like the position that he puts himself in, and because you can't deny it. You can't just keep denying it over and over again. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. Why won't they debate us? Why are we continue to get demonetized, deplatformed?
And the debate would only help them, to be honest. Like,
For
these
sure.
people, we're bigger than these a lot of these guys, like a lot of these like academics that claim to be XYZ, they're not even big. Like, nobody knows them. Like, okay, you wrote a book or whatever, but nobody gives a fuck. Like, no one really knows or cares, or you don't have any real, like, I've realized that there's a difference between fame and influence. Like, do you have influence, right? And a lot of people, these people don't. So what I've come to realize, it's more about, okay, we just want to make sure that these guys don't get any more influence, or we're not going to help. Because if we platform them, they're going to make us look so.
So there's a saying, okay, and I'll quote it anyways. But you know how they always say that hate only comes from below?
Yeah.
Not always.
Yep.
Sometimes hate comes from above.
Yeah.
When they see you coming up in the rear view mirror.
Yeah,
that's when it comes from above. That's when Flagrant is punching down at you because they saw you coming up.
Yeah.
And they want to say, oh, we better watch out for this guy.
Yeah.
And you know what?
We'll stifle them if we can.
Now you're on top, and everything they feared that they wanted to press you down for, all that's gone. Same thing with Abba and Preach. All that's
why don't we do this right now? I will make a bet that Sadia Khan, I'm sure you probably have
She's
some intern
done.
listening. Sadia Khan, Chris GQ Perry, Adam Can, Derek Jackson, Justin Baldoni, all of you together. I will bet you that us three little content creators, I have 200,000 followers on Instagram. I will bet you $50,000 right now. I have more testimonials than you do, and I have 1/10 as many followers. I will bet you right now right now that Will Hitchens, I don't give a fuck who you are, any of you panderers, with the three of us together, we will give you more testimonials of guys who said, I was going to take my own life and I didn't do it, and I've changed my life, and thank you for helping me change my life. I am a nobody, and I have listen to me, I am a nobody, and I have 100 times more testimonials from men than Sadia Khan. 100 times. Go to moamentoring.com/testimonials. Go to my Trustpilot reviews. I have a perfect score. Ask yourself this question. How is this possible? Take all these other panders, put them all together, and just show me one man who said, you know what? I was doing terrible in my relationship. Then I listened to Chris GQ Perry tell me not go to the gym and go to therapy. And now I've got all the
so
Give me one. If there was one, I have more. I'm going to say this one more time. All these panders, Adam Kahn, whoever it is, I have more testimonials than all of you combined times 100. How is that possible? It's because you don't help anyone. What you said before is so incredible. Brittany Renner and Alex Hormozi, they have about the same number of followers, but Brittany Renner has nothing but fame and zero influence. Alex Hormozi can fill up a stadium and get people to pay $25,000, $50,000 for one-on-ones. There's a difference between fame and influence. And if what you're saying is so true, then go explain away my testimonials.
That's why we love Myron, bro. How much time do we have left? 15 minutes, 20, 30 minutes. We have time.
Is an international problem. This is a global issue. Typically, the further along your country is when it comes to progressivism and feminism, the
Okay, I'm gonna skip the intro.
more brain rot. Look at this shit, dude. That don't deserve a long-term relationship and aren't white material. That more brain rot. Look at this shit, dude.
I'm gonna get a copyright. God. I'm probably gonna get a copyright. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you. Just women dancing like a bunch of retards that look like hoes. I had to skip the fucking audio, guys. I had to. Copyright, bro. Okay, there we go.
Girls. Alright. Yeah, you don't want to wife up any of these girls.
Yeah, none. Yeah, probably.
This is where we are, man. Like, dude, isn't it crazy, guys, that, like, you know what's sad? You know what really, like, the crazy part of this is? All these girls know how to dance for TikTok, but they don't know how to be a good girlfriend.
True.
Y'all think
so
about that, bro?
true. That
Like,
is
yo,
so
let this
true.
sink in, chat. Let this sink in.
That's so true.
These women, these modern women, are more interested in dancing on TikTok.
God damn it, Myron. You have a different camera point of view. You know what?
Know how to dance on TikTok better than being a good girlfriend,
Fuck's
too, bro.
sake. That's so true, by the way. That is so true.
This is where we are in society, bro. This is where we are.
So
Young
sad.
men value attention on the internet more than attention from their husband.
True.
These dumb would rather get 1,000 likes than get a man to commit to them for 1,000 days, bro. This is where we are.
It's so
Most
dumb.
girls would not give up
But
their
here
social
we
media
are.
for their man. They wouldn't. The fact that I even, like, brought that up, most women would think I'm crazy. If I told these girls, yo, it's probably not in your best interest to be dancing like a 304 in front of a sorority house on social media, they would say I'm insecure and I'm an asshole. And I'd respond, well, you're and that's more than likely why you're going to stay single for a very long time. And this is why when you're 29, getting into 30, and you're struggling to find a guy as you work your 9-to-5 job that you hate, you're going to sit there and be drinking Franzia wine, slapping the bag in your apartment with your 3 cats, and drinking yourself to sleep while you cry and watch Love Island. That's what awaits these. Tell you how, bro. That's what awaits these women. We told them to prioritize dancing on TikTok, being a in college, experimenting, having your fun with the bad boys, and then eventually, at some point, some guy is going to be waiting at the finish line for you. That's a winner that will take you seriously. Yeah, that's not happening. The guy that you settle with is probably not going to be your first choice because your first choice probably already came along and decided he doesn't want to commit to you because you're stupid, dude, everywhere. It's actually crazy, and they do cringe shit like this all the time.
Yeah, true.
And, you know, it's kind of crazy too because it's like, bruh, these girls are all like bots, How much y'all want to bet if I talk to one of these girls, the other 30 of them are going to be the same?
Probably, bro. It's so
Hey,
true.
what do you do for fun? Hang out with friends? Okay, anything else? Hang out with friends? Next door. Hey, what do you do for fun? Hang out with friends?
Yeah,
Next
I'll do
door.
the
Hey,
same
what do you
thing.
do with your free time?
Yeah,
Hang
I'll
out
do
with
the same.
friends?
Yeah, it's the
It's
same
literally
thing.
rinse and repeat, bro.
Everyone
I have a funny
does the
saying I
same
say all the
shit.
time.
Hang out with friends, food, drink.
One white girl,
It's
you come
always
on.
the same shit. That's so true. That's so true.
You know what I mean? Like, this is just like, this is what I call like NPC headquarters. Truly, NPC headquarters right here.
It's copyright. This is so dumb. Look, what the fuck is this? So sad. And they're beautiful women.
TikTok, I will say
They're
the
beautiful women
only
as well,
benefit of
bro.
TikTok
Like,
is that
come
you
on.
guys are seeing in 1080p female nature.
Yeah, true. That's true as well. That's so true, bro. You speaking
And it
facts
gives
out of
guys like me
everything,
the
bro.
ability to explain to you guys real time while using their own footage against them why modern women are just quite frankly like undateable, bro. Like undateable. Yo, gentlemen, the biggest mistake we made, couple of things. Number
Yeah,
one,
yeah.
feminism. Number
Yeah, the
two,
biggest one.
Number three, allowing them to enter the workforce. Number four, tell them to go to school and get educated. And then number five, the internet, the cell phone, and social media all being put together.
True.
That's the nail in the coffin.
True. That's true,
That's the nail in the
bro.
coffin. We already were on a sinking ship, but the internet, the cell phone, and social media in tandem have created the monster that we see now, which is the modern woman. And what social media and the smartphone have done, because here's the thing, on the female side, they've been able to utilize social media and the phone and the internet to create opportunities for themselves. But in creating opportunities for themselves and exposing their nature, men are getting red pilled on women every day. Young men that otherwise would have never known about any of this shit are now getting red pilled because it's in their face. So the very internet that
True.
women use to spread their whoredom is the same very internet as being used to expose said whoredom.
True.
So we're waking a lot of guys up. I wish we could wake more guys up, but we are waking up guys up where it's still starting to make a small dent. Now, this is what's going to happen. Men are innovators. Men know how to deal with problems. Men literally
True.
invent things to deal with problems. Male ingenuity is the reason why we have the
That's
civilized
why
world that we have
robots are
now.
gonna come into the play.
Female ingenuity doesn't exist. I don't care what anybody says. Okay, let's just keep it all the way 1,000. Women don't invent anything. It's
That's
men
true.
that create everything. Okay? And since men create everything, men are problem solvers. We are deductive problem solvers. That's what we do. Now, here's the real red pill here. Since we live in a society where we have open hypergamy, where women are able to basically do whatever they want with almost zero consequence, and they're able to date whoever they want with zero consequence, and they can be as big as they want with no consequence, this has created a problem in the market. And the problem in the market is, unfortunately, a lot of men don't have sexual access to women. Thanks to feminism, they make their own money, they have their own status, they don't need to necessarily saddle down with a guy for security like they had to do 100 years prior. So men that otherwise would have been able to find a wife now can't find a wife. Let's go
True.
back in time. Okay, you know what? Let's have fun with this. Let's go in the poll. I'm going to do a poll. How many of you guys are single? I'm going to do a poll right now on Kick.
Oh.
3 minutes. So the question is, are you single and under 35? Okay, there's the poll. There's the poll. Vote on Kick for me, guys, because this is going to be extremely important to illustrate what I'm going to talk about next. Everybody go to Kick for me real quick and vote on there. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so 66% of you guys are single and under 35. Okay, which is interesting. Now, let's go back maybe... Let's go back like 100 years, right? 1926. Most of you, 90% of you, would probably be married, okay? Because you guys that are saying that you're not
Probably.
single, I guarantee a bunch of you guys aren't married, though. I should have said married. So I said single, but the reality is right now we got 66% of you guys say that you're single and under 35, and then 34% of you guys are saying you're not single, but you guys probably aren't married. You guys are probably in a long-term relationship, whatever. So it'd probably be even longer. So going back in time, right? Because remember, guys, don't forget the topic. The topic that we're discussing is these sorority, right, and how the world has changed. So what I'm saying is this. If you go back 100 years, 90% of y'all niggas would have been married, right? And more than
Probably.
likely, you guys would have been married to a girl that you knew locally. But thanks to the
Locally,
advent of the
yeah.
internet and social media, right? Men that otherwise would have been married to women that are local to them are not married. And those who more than likely would have been aligned with these men that are close to them geographically are having other options. And then on top of that, they have no incentive to get with the men locally because they have the ability to meet men that are higher status, that make more money, and they go to school. So it's a double whammy. We're burning the candle at both ends of the stick. Because on one end, they make their own money, they don't need a man. And then
Oh,
on
what the fuck? Extreme has some seriousness. Who has a name Larry 220? That's so obvious it's a fake account. I'm sorry. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Go back to the fucking chat room, you piece of fucking shitty ass ball, bro. It's so obvious. So fucking obvious. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Like, bro, there's no way you're fucking somebody. There's no way. Bruh. Who has a name? Larry 220. Who, bruh? Bald ass name. Get the fuck out
On
of
the other
here.
hand, they have the opportunity to talk to higher status men via the internet. So what has this done? Well, this has created an incel pandemic, right? A relationship pandemic. This is why so many men under the age of 35 are not married anymore. Whereas if we went 100 years back, 90% of y'all would have been married and had a house by now and 3 kids.
Yeah,
but since
probably.
men have changed so much and their standards have went up and they're pushing marriage off and they're pushing families off, etc., a lot of guys are not even getting a chance to build a family because most men, and here's a big red pill for y'all, don't find most men attractive. So
True.
since most men don't find most men attractive, most men basically become celibate involuntarily a lot of the times because of
True.
open hypergamy and because of the cell phone and social media. Now, what's going to happen from here? I talk about this in more detail in my book, Why Women Deserve Even Less. Okay, make sure you get the book. Show some love. Amazon bestseller, even though Chris is... So as you guys know, like I said before, men are innovators. Men fix problems. Since men fix problems and they're innovators, clearly there's a reproductive problem. And not only is there a reproductive
Yeah.
problem, there's a reproductive problem that's globally present. I'm gonna say that again.
That's where the problem is gonna come from. The real problem is gonna start.
We have a global reproductive problem for men. In the chat right now, drop where you're coming in from. Type in USA, Canada, South Africa, Australia, etc. Guys, type in the chat where you're from. What country you're from. I know majority are going to be US, but we're going to have a lot of people here from other places. I see Australia, UK, United Arab Emirates, New Zealand. We got people someone from Azerbaijan is in here, New Zealand. Yeah. So we have a decent amount of people, Canada. We have a decent amount of people here from different countries. Why? I'll tell you why. Because female is an international problem. I'm going to say that again.
True, it's such a problem internationally.
Female
Yes, so
is an
true.
international problem, chat.
That is
This
so
is a global
true.
issue.
That's so true.
Okay?
That's so
Typically,
fucking true.
the further along your country is when it comes to progressivism and feminism, the worse the women are going to be. There's a reason why there's been a rise in the passport, bro. There's a reason why there's been an explosion in the popularity of red pill content. And the reason why is because women, quite frankly, are insufferable nowadays. So since
True.
women are insufferable nowadays, men have been trying to get answers. And essentially what the red pill has done is it's us passing notes to each other, right? Hey, this is what I figured out. Hey, this is what I figured out. Hey, this is what I figured out. This is what I figured out. And we've all come to the same conclusion. Most women are that don't deserve a long-term relationship and aren't wife material.
True.
I think we can all
True.
agree on that. That
Yeah,
a
we
majority
agree on that
are
shit.
not
Yeah,
worthy of a
100%.
long-term relationship. Fair.
100%. 100%.
Now, how are we going to deal with the problem? Well, some guys go abroad and find a girl somewhere else. Some guys just pay for. Some guys learn game and game the system and smash a bunch of girls. Some guys choose to go their own way and not deal with women at all. How you deal
Yeah,
with the
pretty much.
problem is up
It's
to you,
up-
but we've
yeah.
all recognized the same
We all
problem.
recognize the same
and we
shit,
recognize
yep.
the bottom line of how we got here. Now, what I think is going to happen is that this insufferableness of females is going to spark the creation of sex robots. Again, I go into
Yeah.
more detail on this in my book.
That's why this is where I say this is where the real problem actually fucking goddamn starts. Like, we already have a problem right now, like a real one, but that's even worse. Because remember, AI is here, and robots is starting to become more and more real. It's becoming a reality literally. So yeah, robots are probably gonna be the problem solvers. Women, for some reason, they're insufferable. Robots are here to be not sufferable. So that's why I say this: women, wake the fuck up and actually be female before it's too late. Before it's too fucking late. Because you're gonna be replaced by robots very easily. I'm telling you already. That's probably what's gonna happen.
But men are deductive problem solvers. Right now, majority of men have a reproductive problem. So guess what? There's a market now. Now that there's a market, someone's gonna come in and sell to that market and create, whether it be robots or some other shit like that, combined with AI, someone is going to go ahead and fix this problem.
Yeah,
now,
they're probably
I
gonna
can see
do
a
it.
bunch of niggas in the chat. Someone says, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, but most men are. That's the problem, is most men are gonna do that. That's the fucking problem. That guy's such a retard. Look at him, poor Myron.
Idiots, bro. So, I'm not telling you this story to tell you that, oh, look, you're going to go get a robot, you stupid, dumb. Oh, my God. Yo, some of y'all niggas, bro.
Hello, monkeys.
Some of you niggas are chimpanzee, orangutan, dumb window licking. It's like crazy to me how some of these niggas are.
It's not you.
Bro,
it's
did I
most
say that you're
men.
gonna go get a robot, you dumb? No, I'm telling you that this is what's gonna come, you dumb. Holy shit. I'm telling you what's coming. Hey, are you aware of the fact 20 short years ago, the concept of meeting a girl on the internet was unfathomable? Everyone here in this chat right now that's 30 and older. Remember, guys? The concept of meeting a girl on Tinder or Match.com or Plenty of Fish or Bumble was considered completely unacceptable to disclose. It was
yeah,
weird.
true.
I remember vividly. In many
I
girls'
remember
different
that.
dating descriptions.
I remember that.
If we hit
I
it off, we'll
remember
say we
that.
met at the park. So in other words, it wasn't socially acceptable to meet women on the internet just 10 to 20 short years ago, you dumb shit. Fast forward to 2026.
That's so true.
A majority, if not around half, of new relationships forged in 2026 are done where? On the internet, you. I don't give a if you would get a sex robot, you stupid. What I'm telling you is that trends are going to change. And what is unacceptable now will be completely socially acceptable 20 to 30 to 50 years from now, you stupid. That's what I'm saying, idiot. Holy you're. And it's gonna come faster than you think. I remember 10 years ago, meeting a girl on Tinder was considered weird. Now it's socially acceptable. The concept of meeting a girl on Instagram was, you wouldn't even think of that. Now it's completely socially normal. So what I'm trying to explain to your dumb is that trends change. Technology changes life. If technology has changed the behavior of and made them insufferable, there's going to be something done to combat that insufferableness. Clearly, they're not going to change. They're not going to concede any of the freedoms that they've been able to achieve over the past several years, thanks to the internet. So the only way to counteract that is men, more than likely, are going to find another sexual solution, which I predict is going to be AI and robots.
AI
so
and robots
we can go ahead and
as
scoff
well,
at that
yeah.
and say that's
I
weird.
predict
But keep in
that
mind
as well,
that there's a
that's
kid
gonna
being born
happen.
right now that doesn't have these social norms. So 20 to 30 years from now, all that kid's gonna know, more than likely, is I grew up and it was a thing where people had robots. So when he's an adult, 30 years from now, it's gonna be normal. Hey, are you aware of the fact that a bunch of people in this chat right now grew up with an iPad as a baby? Are you aware of the fact that
iPad?
kids in
What
here
the
right now
fuck?
had a cell phone?
Grew up with a fucking iPod? Who, what?
Well, not kids, but people in here that are adults had a cell phone in elementary school?
Bro, I remember having my phone when I was a secondaire. Bro, what? The heck is this shit? Having iPads as soon as you were like a baby? What the fuck?
I'm 36 years old. The concept of having a cell phone in elementary school is nuts to me. The fact that people had internet access to browse the full web on an iPhone in elementary school, crazy. I didn't have access to an iPhone 4 when it first came out until I was 20 years old.
I never had a phone until... And then when I got one, if I remember correctly, I got a Wiko. It was called a Wiko here. It's my first phone. And I was like 12. I never had a phone before. Even tablets or anything like that. We had it later. Bro, what the fuck is this? You're born, you're a baby, you can have a tablet? Bro, you're like 10, you have a phone? Like, huh? It makes no sense. I remember growing up with nothing, and then you get a phone and responsibility and stuff like that as you get in towards the teenager like years or an adult. You never get a phone as a fucking kid. Like what? It's fucking stupid.
Until I was an adult. I'll never forget. It came out 2010. I was 20 years
the
old.
fuck?
Some of you guys right now in the chat are saying, yo, this nigga's a grimp. That's my point. Technology changes. When technology changes, social norms change alongside it, you stupid. Using YouTube to learn things was not a thing 10 to 20 years ago.
Yeah,
20
that
years
is
ago.
true.
Now it's the norm. 20
It's the
years ago,
norm.
people weren't going to YouTube as their main entertainment source. They were watching TV. Now, watching TV is caveman age. Oh my God, bro.
True.
Like, it's like, yo, like, why do we got so many stupid niggas in the chat, bro? Like, this shit is painful, man. It's like, I'm over here going like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then some stupid nigga says some dumb shit about, I'm not gonna use robots. Now I gotta go back and go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can't pick up at 10 and go on. I gotta go 1, 2, 3, 4 for you dumb niggas in here.
Hello, monkey.
Yo, I hate stupid people, bro. Like, yo, I hate stupid people. Yo, your days are numbered if I ever get powered, bro. You niggas, yo, your days are numbered if I ever get powered, bro. Oh my God, man.
Bro, if I get powered, laugh, bro. It'd be funny as shit. Wait, what the fuck? The heck is this? Nice, nice. Computer's fucking great. It's fucking, look at this, this. Technology, bro. Technology. So fucking stupid, bro. This is so stupid. Why would... There you go.
Not the other way around. Larry over here gave this.
What the, bro? Bro, what the fuck is this? Yeah, there you go. There you go. More, okay, let's skip a bit. Here we go.
Okay, let's go right here. So, as you guys all know, our favorite guy, Larry Wheels. I'm gonna play the clip as usual, guys, in full.
This is sad, bro.
And then we'll react to it.
Why ain't she here?
What's up?
Why'd you bring her?
We separated.
Bro, Larry, come on, bro. Myron warned you, so many people warned you, and guess what fucking happened? Bro, poor Larry, bro. At the same time, let's be honest, he fucking deserves it, bro. So many people warned him, and he still continued. Fucking idiot. I'm sorry, I know you achieved more than me, but like, come on, Larry, bro. You're more intelligent than this. What the fuck?
You just gonna tell him that on camera, nigga?
It's the truth.
No wonder we depressed. You wanna me to call her, fix it?
Call her to fix. You trying
Can
to
we
fuck my
fix
wife?
this?
I'm good, man.
No, I'm
Call
not
her
trying
to fix her.
No. What happened?
Bro.
Just saying.
I mean, look, it's grew apart. That's it.
You let the streaming come between us.
What's that?
She gave up. Nigga, you must have been a real asshole for her to give up the G-Wagon.
I mean, we're separated, but I'm still gonna have to take care of her. So I'll get her something.
Excuse me? How, bro, explain me the logic. They were married, they separated, but you have to take care of her? Excuse me? Bro, in what fucking world do we live? The fuck is this? I'm shocked. Bro, what the fuck? Bro, that's embarrassing. You separated. Why are you taking care of her? If you separated, you separated. What the fuck? I'm shocked.
Alright, so I'll make sure she's good.
I'm fucking shocked.
Now, why
I'm
don't you go
shocked.
fix that shit?
I'm shocked.
What's up?
Why
What
don't you
the
go fix it?
fuck?
Beyond repair.
What the fuck?
Alright. It's nothing beyond repair, nigga. You just gotta go fix it, nigga. Is it worth fixing, or are you cool being you?
It's beyond repair, man. Beyond repair.
All right, we
Bro,
ain't gonna talk about
come
that
on, bro.
What's up?
All right, here I got another clip right here from Beardbug. Hold on, let me get this.
Holy shit, bro.
Here, let's play it back one more time. This one seems like an extended version.
Yeah, it's a wife.
shit. Why ain't she here?
What's up?
Why'd you bring her?
We separated.
You just gonna tell him that on camera, nigga?
It's the truth.
No wonder we depressed.
Bro.
You want me to call her, fix it?
Call her to fix. You trying
Can
to
we
fuck my
fix
wife?
this?
I'm good, man.
No, I'm not trying. See, no.
And
What happened?
No way. He didn't have a prenup. Half his shit is gone.
I mean, can we? Just
Bro, Larry,
Hey,
come
look,
on,
apart.
bro.
you let the streaming come between us.
What's that?
She gave up. Nigga, you must have been a real told for her to give up the G-Wagon.
I mean, we're separated, but I'm still gonna have to take care of her.
I got my
Fuck!
You have to have this dynamic with your girl. She
What
needs
the
to thank God
fuck
she's
was
with
that?
you, not the other way.
You just gonna tell him?
The fuck was that? It just puts to the end of the video.
That on camera, nigga?
It's the truth. No, fix. You trying
Can
to
we
fuck my
fix
wife?
this?
I'm good, man.
No, I'm not trying. See, what happened? Let's go. What happened? I mean, do you? Just saying.
I mean, look, it's grew apart. That's it.
You let the streaming come between us.
What's that?
She gave up. Nigga, you must have been a real told for her to give up the G-Wagon.
I mean, we're separated, but I'm still gonna have to take care of her.
Still gonna have to take care of someone that you separate. That's so stupid.
Now, why don't you go fix that shit?
Nah, bro.
What's up?
Why don't you go fix it?
Beyond repair.
No, it's not. Go right. It's nothing's beyond repair, nigga. You just gotta want to fix it. You just gotta go fix it, nigga. Is it worth fixing, or are you cool being you?
Bro.
Beyond repair, man. Beyond repair.
All right, man. We ain't gonna talk about that shit. Can you get what the driving?
Gentlemen, I'm not even gonna bother doing
He
a
warned,
parade.
bro. Myron Gaines warned Larry so many times, publicly, through streams, clips, everything, and this guy still ended up being in the situation that he told him not to be in. So many people tried to help him to not be in that situation that he's in right now, and he still ended up being
and
there.
say, look, I told you so, you know,
And like,
or
come
try to
on,
like
bro.
dance on it or make fun of. Like, I'm pissed off for Larry, and the
That's
reason
so
why I'm
sad.
pissed off is because it
Come
really bothers
on.
me when I see countless, uncharismatic, useless men with no really tangible skills or assets, right, come in, suck all the value out, and then leave. These
Poor
are
Larry, bro.
basically Cell Stage 1, bro, okay? You guys remember the Cell from Dragon Ball Z? Nigga had the tail, and he'd prick you, and just suck the life out of you, and then you'd be like, ah! That's these, bro. And when I tell you guys, right, hypergamy it's real. It's real.
Bro.
Okay? It's
Come
real,
on, Larry.
and we live in a society where it is no longer contained. Do you guys understand what I mean when I say that we live in a society where hypergamy is not contained? You know what that means? We live in a deregulated sexual marketplace. When you live in a deregulated sexual marketplace, okay, what that basically means is anybody can hook up with anybody assuming age of consent is met, okay? And that
What
there's
the
actual physical
fuck?
consent, right? Age of consent and actual real consent. As long as those two things are met, anybody can hook up with anybody.
That's
now,
so dumb.
when the idiots in the 1960s originally bought into this idea of feminism and free love and birth control and letting have, you know, complete autonomy over their sexuality and, you know, being big and 304s and doing whatever they want, they did not foresee this. They thought, let's let be 304s, let's give women birth control, let's give all this power, right, to be as promiscuous as they want to be with no consequence. And everyone's going to get love. But what people fail to realize is this. When women are left to their own devices, they typically go with the best option to them. Now, let me be clear about this. The best option to them doesn't mean it actually has to be the best option to them. This is the key. It's just what they feel is the best option to them. Do you guys understand that? So if you have game, you're able to love bomb properly while maintaining this delicate balance of still having some bad boy-esque traits while simultaneously love bombing, you can create the illusion that you're a good counterpart. You can fool the hypergamy to a degree. That's all game is, by the way, chat. It's utilizing female nature and hypergamy against them to get what you want, okay? Now,
What the
prior
fuck,
to
bro?
2026, we have
Larry, come on. So many people try to warn you, and you could have foreseen this. Bro, it shows how bad our society is. The fact that Amanda has this much influence, money, and like he has a fucking empire, it can just be like this destroyed by a woman like this. It's just sad. See how society has come to. Holy fucking shit.
conventions in place to keep in line so that this pernicious biological trait of female would not destroy society, okay? Because remember, guys, if a woman gets pregnant, right, she now is going to be a burden on everybody else. You understand that they have to be sexually selective to a degree, right? And if they're not sexually selective, you can literally destroy everything, right? This is why men have this like proclivity to hate, like not hate, but to like be so disgusted by. The reason why men are so turned off by is because you have a biological thing in the back of your man. You're hardwired to want to support your children, your biological children.
Yep.
Okay?
True.
You're not designed to be a. That's why it's shamed. You're designed to want to protect your girl, your alongside the offspring that you guys created together, right? And a defense mechanism is since men can't naturally ensure paternity, you look at traits and or you're disgusted by. Just like women are turned off by guys that are short and ugly or might not have money or status, you're turned off by girls that are. Because for a woman, she needs security. So she looks for survival traits. Is he tall? Does he have money? Does he have status? Does he have the ability to give me and my children resources? Men, we look for security too. But our security is, are you going to not be a... Am I secure where I know the children are mine? Men don't ask for much. Women
we don't
ask for way more.
Yeah, we don't ask a
Their
lot of
security
things,
is for their survival. Our security is, are the kids mine? Okay? And for thousands of years of human history, we've done everything in our power to curb and or stop and or negate or impede women's ability to exercise hypergamy and be. But that all crashed in the 1960s.
Feminism.
We removed the shackles of shame. We removed the shackles of the church. We removed the shackles of religion. We removed the shackles of being a mother, right? We removed everything that used to keep in check and accountable to their husbands and their partners. What we're left with now is a deregulated sexual marketplace where women decide who they want to hook up with and who they think is the best deal. But here's the problem. Since most are stupid and emotional creatures that can't really make proper decisions, they go off of what's good right now versus what's good long term. This has led to the fluster, which is the current sexual marketplace now. There's a reason why arranged marriages were a thing for so goddamn long. The reason why arranged marriages were a thing for so long is because we don't really have a good ability to ascertain the long-term success of a man, right? As being a good father. I'll give you an example. Guy A, guy B, right? Let's say I'm a dad and I have a daughter. Guy A comes in, he's 5'8", he's a nerd, he's not the most attractive guy, he has weird mannerisms, but he makes $100K per year, nice guy, sexually inexperienced, etc. Right? But he wants to be a husband and have children. Guy B comes in, Chad, 6'5", multimillionaire, has a Ferrari, right? Super charismatic, super charming, etc. But he's not really looking for anything serious. He's not looking for something for a long time, he's looking for a fun time, right? So me, as the father, I'm gonna go with option A. Why? Because I know he's gonna be able to provide long-term security to my daughter.
Long-term security, yeah.
So I know what's best for her for the long term. But if I were to leave the decision to my daughter, who do you think she would pick?
The bad guy.
Chad, because she's a dumb
fucking Chad, yeah, probably.
And if you guys don't believe me, go ahead and go on TikTok and look at all the complaining in a car about how they can't find a guy. The reason why is because guys have figured out, the higher status guys, the good-looking guys, the Chads, they figured out how to circumvent hypergamy and get what they want from the without giving what they need to give. Ace man, thank you for the gifted. Does that make sense? This is why arranged marriages were a thing for so goddamn long. The father was there to protect the woman from herself. He was there to pick the best partner for long-term security and a stable family. But when you live to their own devices and you have fatherless households, you don't have a father or a brother or some male, okay? Some male involved in the mating process, is destined to fail. Why? Because go with what's hot right now. Well, they care about, I want to have fun now. We're very short-sighted.
That's true.
And the reason why they're short-sighted is because they have a finite amount of time to maximize their looks to their benefit. Between 18 to 30 years old is the window. They got about 12 prime years that they can use. That's why they say I'm here for a good time, not a long time. Your job as the father or the brother, because you don't have a vested sexual interest in this woman, you actually care about her and her longevity, is your job is to find a guy that's going to be the guy that can take care of her long-term beyond 30, right? But since so many women are stupid and they just want to have fun now, they make the decisions based on what's fun now. This is how they end up with the boys, how they end up with the rappers, they end up with all these guys that are not good long-term prospects, but they're good short-term prospects because we live in a society of instant gratification. So the need to have fun or the want to have fun overrides being intelligent and getting long-term security. Now, here's where the rubber meets the road. The reason why this is so completely unacceptable, right? Because people might say, well, Mario, why are you being so tough on this, bro? Why can't she have a couple of years of fun and then find a guy after?
Because it's a fucking problem.
I'll tell you why. Because she's been ruined, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, it's a big problem.
She's been tainted. You understand? In order for a to get the experience and get it out of her system, she has to do things that disqualify her from being a real wife. You guys get that? So when girls say girls just want to have fun, let's not be stupid here and let's be explicitly descriptive.
Bro,
Have
that's
fun
a good
means
sound effect as well.
casual relationships with multiple men and figuring out what they like and what they don't like. But what women don't understand is that process in of itself disqualifies them from getting the dream man. And it's your job as the brother and the dad to protect her from herself, to preserve her value so that she can go ahead and have more negotiating power in the dating marketplace and eventually the marriage marketplace. But we're too stupid to understand and too nearsighted to understand that we have a long-term problem that we need to fix, which is your security via a man. But when you go ahead and you go for short-term pleasure, that's going to lead to long-term pain. Why? Because you've had your fun in your 20s, you sowed your wild oats, but guess what? You've now disqualified yourself from the very men you wanted in the first place before you sowed your wild oats. And this is why hypergamy is so dangerous. This is why, whether it's a from India, a Muslim nigga from Iraq, a Native American guy in the United States, some Italian nigga from the Florence, or the Romans, or the Greeks, why is it that every single civilization of human beings since the beginning of time have done everything in their power to contain female hypergamy and promiscuity? Why? Because they understand that can easily be tainted, and once they're tainted, they can no longer demand full price at the sexual marketplace, which means the father and the brother are going to be stuck with supporting her longer because she doesn't qualify for a man that can be a provider for her. Do you get that? This is why a good brother or a good dad has an extremely vested interest in ensuring that their sister and or their daughter gets a man that could take care of them long term so they don't have to have that burden. So when men have skin in the game and know that I have to continue paying for my daughter or taking care of my daughter, guess what they're gonna do? There's checks and balances. They're gonna ensure the guy that they set their daughter up with is going to take care of her long term. So me as a dad, remember example A, example B, I see one guy that's able to provide long-term security. That's the guy I'm gonna go for. The other guy might have the things that are more attractive, but I know what's gonna be better for my daughter long term. Men aren't as short-sighted as women are. But if I left my daughter to her own devices since she's gonna go for the Chad. That Chad's gonna break her heart, leave her. Next thing you know, she's gonna be on TikTok complaining about how men ain't shit.
True.
And in the process of her with that Chad, she's picked up another body, she's picked up some trauma, she's picked up some bad experiences, and most importantly, her purity has been robbed. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Women are like glass. If you take a glass and you drop it on the floor, it smashes into 1,000 pieces. You could go ahead and hire the best repairer, some glass expert, he repairs it, blah, blah, blah. But guess what? Every time you pour water in that glass, it's always gonna leak. It's not gonna be the same. This is why virginity has been such an important thing for men. Because number one, it ensures paternity, and then number two, it ensures that the woman is pair bonded to you. But now that we have this deregulated sexual marketplace, we got all these all over the place. You got a lot of, quite frankly, that don't deserve a long-term relationship. 304s. Now let's spin this back to what's going on with Larry, right?
Larry,
so as you guys know, for those of you that don't know, I'll quickly recap here. Larry Wills is married to this chick, okay? This girl, he met her in Dubai. I think she's a flight attendant for like UAE Airlines.
Bro, she's a good-looking woman. What I don't understand is like, come on, Larry. Come on, Larry. How the fuck do you let this happen?
Okay. This girl, he met her in Dubai. I think she's a flight attendant for like UAE Airlines or some shit like that. She's Serbian or Eastern European of some kind, right? So as you guys can see here already, just off me describing a little bit about her, red flags all over the place, right?
Yeah, you
literally
can tell.
a communist parade. Red flags all over the place with this girl. Thank you, Fresh as Asian, for the 3 months.
That is true. That is true.
When Larry got with this girl, he was probably the best that she could do at that time. She consulted on him,
she
married him, probably got him.
Bro, there's no way people have this type of thing. She belongs to the streets. That's so funny,
benefits,
bro.
citizenship, whatever the right?
That's so
Once
funny.
he started streaming, right? Once he started streaming, and she got put in the limelight and became famous, guess what happened? Offers started coming her way. Other men started to slide. She didn't realize maybe Larry's not the best option. People are making fun of Larry on X, calling him a people are calling him a people are making fun of him, insulting his masculinity, insulting his manhood. He's getting roasted, right? Meanwhile, she's getting offers. So what happened? I'll tell you what happened. Her, just like every other woman that thinks she could do better, she thought the grass was green on the other side. And this perpetual concept that women have in their mind where they always think that they can do better, this is the negative side of hypergamy. Women typically always think the grass is green on the other side, not realizing that the lawn that they're in right now is beautiful. The grass is great. The flowers rise. Every now and then you might see a weed here or there, but it gets pulled out in a week or two, right? But what ends up happening with is once they feel as though they can do better, it's over. Whether or not they can actually do it. It's important that you guys understand this. It all goes off her perception, not what's real, okay? A girl will open up her Instagram and see 1,000 DMs from higher status guys. She doesn't have the mental capacity and intelligence to understand none of these guys actually want her. They just want to have sex with her. What she'll do is she'll look at that and be like, look at all these options I have. But they're not really viable options. But we have a difficult time understanding the difference between viable options for long-term commitment versus options for sexuality. Women tend to conflate the two for their own ego purposes. So this is what went down.
We separate them.
She commands more.
We separate sex and how can I say this? So we separate sex and possibility for marriage or a commitment. But women, they combine the two, which makes no sense.
Respect and more value in the sexual marketplace than Larry. She thought she could do better. That led to the separation. I don't understand the, actual grievances here, but I'm willing to bet that's probably what it was. Because notice, shortly after he became a streamer and started getting into the public limelight and all this bad press came out on him, his wife and him separate. So I'm willing to bet that there was some type of infidelity, some type of disrespect, or whatever the may be, where she thought she could do better. One thing you guys need to understand is, if a woman leaves you, 9 out of 10 times, that means she can do better, okay? That's what she means. She's betting against you. If she leaves you, she's betting against you that she can do better. Otherwise, she wouldn't leave, because women are like sports scouts, okay? A scout's job is to assess the potential of a future athlete and their ability to create change on their team and get them a championship. That's what women are. They're scouts, okay? And if they don't see the potential, or they think they can get a better athlete, they will go ahead and move on to the better athlete. That's what are their scouts, okay? And scouting is basically hypergamy. So once she got in the limelight, once she started going viral, once Larry started getting all this negative press, once she started getting all this press, she felt as though she can do better. And that's more than likely what led to the separation. And this is why it's so important that you never get with girls that want to be entertainers. This is exactly why you don't let your girl ever think she's better than you. Because the problem with is have this natural proclivity to think they're the main character. Since they're naturally solipsistic and naturally fucking narcissistic, which they are, I don't give a anybody tells me. Some of you might come in, no, they're not. Yes, they are. They have to be. They have to be more narcissistic because they're the more vulnerable and weaker sex. So since they're the more vulnerable and weaker sex, they have to be far more calculated in how they move. They have to be far more calculated with who they mate with. They have to be more strategic in what they do. This is why when a breaks up with you, 9 out of 10 times, she made that decision 3 to 4 months ago, Dom.
Yeah, she already made that decision a long time ago.
But we don't typically monkey branch in a day. It takes many days, if not weeks or months, for them to properly grab that branch and then let go of you and move on and go all the way in with that other branch. This is why over 50% of married have a backup guy. Did you niggas know that? And that's just that we're being honest. It's probably way higher than that. And in today's sexual marketplace where every girl has an Instagram, I'd say 90% at this point probably have a backup option.
Even 100.
Coming to take over from their husband.
I'd say 100.
This is the new normal.
What the fuck?
This is the new sexual marketplace. Hypergamy is out of control. A girl like this chick right here, obviously, right? Yeah, she's attractive, cool, but she's getting closer to her 30s. She's with a multimillionaire, famous guy, successful, but she thinks she commands more power in the sexual marketplace than she left him. This is the hubris of the modern female. You guys get it? And it's only because she went viral with them streaming that she felt this way. Do you get it? This is going to be really toxic what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. Because a lot of you don't understand this shit. So let me go ahead and say this in a manner that will be understandable for you niggas. Okay? Your job as the boyfriend, as the husband, as the male counterpart is to continuously remind your that you're the prize. Do you get that? I'm going to say that again for you niggas.
Hello, monkeys.
Your job as the man with your girl is to continuously remind her that you're the prize. Do you get that? Why? Because we live in a world where are idolized and worshipped for nothing more than have a. So since there's pro-female propaganda all over the place and can do no wrong, and there's simps everywhere that compliment them for just having a set, it's your job to constantly bash into her head, not literally, of course, because some of you guys were. It's your job to constantly remind her that you're the prize and you can replace her at any time. Because guess what, guys? She can replace you at any time. And she's constantly reminded of that. Do you get what I'm saying here? You need to let your girl know that she's just as expendable as she might think that you are. Now, why is this so profound and why so important? Because women aren't used to being with a guy that treats them as expendable. Oh my God, Myra, this is so toxic. It's the truth of having to have in the sexual marketplace now. You can blame Instagram, you can blame TikTok, you can blame social media, you can blame the interconnectivity via social media, you can blame the simps. But the bottom line is this, women are out of control. Average think that they're above average. Ugly think they're beautiful, thanks to the internet. So now, to correct for this, you have to be the type of guy where you're constantly reminding your chick that you're the prize. Now, of course, I don't want you to walk in the house and be like, hey, I'm the prize. No, nigga.
That's stupid.
You demonstrate it by your actions. Other women want you. You carry yourself in a certain way. You don't tolerate bullshit. When you speak to her and you tell her to do something, you're very stern and decisive in what you say and what you do. You have very strong boundaries that she's terrified to violate. Not because you're gonna do anything to her. No, we don't need violence. She's scared to violate your boundaries because she knows that you'll walk out the door. She knows that you'll look her dead in the eye and say, go home, get out of here. And you have the capability of getting another right then and there. That's the only thing, respect. Do you get that? It's the only fire that you guys have to fight fire with fire. They have 1,000 niggas in their DMs. They got
It's
guys
sad to say it, but it's
They got
true.
people telling them that they're brilliant and smart when they're
I say it's sad because, of course, women shouldn't get that, but unfortunately, the way things are going, it's what we have to do.
I mean, niggas probably told this.
It's true, bro.
Smart. This is but I
That
guarantee
bitch
you, if we looked at her
retarded,
Instagram, you're so smart. Why are you with Larry? You can do better. You deserve the world. 50K isn't enough for you a month. You need 100,000 a month. And then she heard this over and over and over and over again, and she started to believe it. Then she starts to think, maybe I could do better than Larry. Then the disrespect comes. Then the unappreciation comes. Or the ungratefulness comes. That leads to separation. I don't know if it was her or him that initiated it, but I guarantee you, her behavior changed after the streaming, and that's what led to this. And this is precisely why I tell you guys, do not get with women that do social media. Do not get with girls that are attention. Do not get with girls that always want to be around, etc. Because what ends up happening is if you got a girl like that, that's an attention that needs that type of shit, it's just a matter of time until people are whispering sweet nothings in her ear and she thinks that she could do better. It's a mitigation strategy, guys, because the odds are stacked against you. The deck is completely stacked against you. A multi-millionaire guy that's attractive and good-looking and has shit together, he's gonna have to fight tooth and nail to keep an average in check. I'm gonna say that again for you out here. This is politically incorrect advice that no one's gonna tell you, but I'll tell you. A guy that's exceptional, tall, good-looking, money, status, etc., that nigga's still gonna have to fight to keep his line.
True. That is so true.
That's
and
where we are. That's where we
the
are.
point
Because
of this
is
is
out of
fucking
control.
bad.
You guys see how these
That is
come and
true.
act on our show? You see how entitled and rude they are? You see how they behave, right? You see all this bullshit? They treat us like that. We're clouded up. We got money. They're on our show and they treat us like that. What do you think they're gonna do with a regular nigga, bro?
That's so true.
This is the new normal, chat. This is the new normal. You need to move completely different now. You can't
Yep.
pedestalize girls. You can't be a simp. You can't be a sucker. You gotta come in like I'm the prize. And that you could be replaced at any time. That's the power dynamic you need to have in a relationship. I'm sorry, bro. I wish it wasn't like this, chat. I wish I could tell you to be a nice guy. I wish I could say give her a bouquet of flowers every time you see her. I wish I could tell y'all to spoil her all the time. I wish I could tell you guys that she can have guy friends. Whatever. But the point is, I wish that I could tell y'all niggas it wasn't like this, but it's not, bro. It's not. You gotta be militant with these now. You gotta be so goddamn on point. You gotta be militant with them, man. Now, again, let me be clear here. I'm not talking about some random I don't care about that. She's for the streets. Who cares? You have some fun. Recreational use. Fine. I'm talking about anyone you want to take seriously. I'm talking about any girl that you want to make wife. I'm talking about any girl that you want to provide for. I'm talking about any girl that you want to, like, take seriously, like, and be willing to die for. That's what I'm talking about. If it's some no, bro. What? There's two different lanes here. I'm talking about having a girl that you want to take seriously for a relationship where you might marry this or have kids with her. You have to look for all these things. And you have to have this dynamic with your girl. She needs to thank God that she's with you, not the other way around. Larry over here gave this talentless way too much credit, way too much pedestalization. Bro, she's some mid-looking Eastern European chick that takes thirst trap pictures on the internet, bro. Come on, man.
That's so
Nigga,
true.
there's thousands of her. There's only one Larry Wheels. And it pisses me off because, like, bro, nigga, like, there's so many. There's a new turning 18 that looks just like her right now.
True.
It kills me. When I see guys that got their money together, got their life together, etc., and they're getting with these ungrateful, useless that provide almost no value. Bro, this was a flight attendant when you met her in Dubai. Get the out of here, man. Get the out of here. You were giving her 50K a month, taking care of all this other bullshit, and you guys are saying, what are you doing? Bro, don't give her shit. I hope someone clips this and sends it to him. Don't give her shit. She constantly was disrespecting you, constantly undermining you, and she did this shit on fucking camera. You gotta put your foot down with these girls. I don't give a fuck what you guys talked about behind the scenes or whatever. This girl is a liability, bro. She's a liability. She cooked her credibility in a month over her dumb comments. Why is she saving DMs from niggas? Oh, did you know that Maiden messaged me like 3 years ago? Like, I don't even remember you. Look at this DM. Off an old Instagram account that I don't even know if it's been banned forever. Why are you saving that, you weirdo? That's weird. That in itself is an enormous red flag. And let me tell you guys a dark secret about a lot of these.
That is true, bro. If you're saving DMs from years ago about guys who wanted to be with you, it just shows that you're a red flag all over the place, bro. Let's be honest, bro. Let's be fucking
They
honest.
love men giving them attention and guys of status. So, like, the fact, if your girl's ever here saving this, saving, like, screenshots from other men or saying, I hooked up with this guy or whatever, that's a red flag, bro. Like, what she doesn't realize, because she's so, because she thought that was a flex. Oh, see? Look, he hit me up and I didn't respond. Oh, yes. I don't even remember that. And even if I did, who cares? That's not a flex for niggas to hit you up, you stupid. If anything, that makes you for saving the screenshot, man.
That's so stupid.
But this is what I'm saying. This is the wherewithal of the average. You guys get that? The average has no clue that saving a picture like that and or bragging about that makes you inherently less attractive. Your mindset is... Once I saw that, I was like, yeah, this cooked. I knew right then and there. This is not going to last. I knew right then and there.
A lot of people predicted that it's not going to last.
Girls that do shit like that,
even I predicted it was not going to go anywhere.
The worst kinds. And again,
it was very obvious.
I'm not giving you guys this monologue on females to shit on Larry. That's beside the fact. I'm just explaining to you guys, this is the new normal with and how you need to move. And when it comes to the Larry situation, I saw this coming. And I hope he stops giving her money. I hope he stops spoiling her. I hope he stops giving her this lifestyle. Guys need to make it like this. If you're no longer with me, the lifestyle ends. You guys want to know why it probably was easier for her to separate and then end this shit? Is because she knew that she'd be able to maintain the same lifestyle to a significant degree while not being with him anymore. You guys get that?
Yeah, that's
she
true.
Probably left
because
she
of
knew, or she was okay with them splitting up, because she understood that she was able to maintain her same lifestyle to a degree while not being with him. This is why marriage is such a dangerous proposition. Because what ends up happening with marriages, right? You're going into a contract, you're going into a business deal with someone that's not incentivized to see the deal through because they get the benefits whether the deal continues or not. Think about it, guys, for a second. Think about this shit. Think about this. In a relationship, in a marriage, right? Man and woman split up. After the marriage, depending on how long it goes, the man is still on the hook for alimony. He's still on the hook for child support.
That's
he's still on the hook
so
for potentially
stupid.
giving her the house, the marital house.
That is so true, bro. The women have to do nothing, and the man has to give everything. That is outrageous. That's fucking outrageous. And most of the time, the divorces, it's not even the men that wants to divorce. It's the woman that wants to divorce because they know they're gonna get half of everything. It's fucking awful.
Percent of everything that he accrued while he was with her, he's on hook for everything. So in other words, his duties while he was married to her are still intact to some degree. But guess what? The duties of the woman, sucking
gone
every now and then, cleaning up the house, all that shit,
gone.
She is not obligated to fulfill any of that shit. Get that through your head. After the marriage is done, you are still on the hook for your masculine burner performance. You are still on the hook for your
That's fucking
roles.
bullshit, bro. If there's a divorce, there's an actual fucking divorce. There's nothing else should be along with it. It's half-half and it's done. That's how it should be. Or not even half-half, depending on who put more effort in, let's be honest. If the woman didn't work and put no money into the fucking thing, and the other did, let's be honest, the whole money should be for the guy if the guy put more effort when it comes to the business and money aspect of the family. Let's be honest, bro. Like, bruh. Some bullshit. The divorce shit is some fucking bullshit.
On the hook for her feminine roles. That's bullshit. And why none of you should ever get married in modern day society. That in of itself proves that marriage is useless to men. And also, this proves what I said before. Your job is to ensure that if she was to end the relationship, she is punished accordingly. She no longer gets the benefit of being around you or getting all the things that come with you. Lifestyle ends. Money, gone. Car, gone. House, gone. Get out of here. This is why it's so critical that you guys get a prenuptial agreement, that she's not entitled to any of your assets if things fail. And throughout the relationship, she's not entitled to any of your assets. This is a package deal. I just want to sit here and be like, well, me and my kids come together. Okay, me, my status, my money, my resources, they come together. You are not going to be able to siphon value off from me while not being with me. Get the out of here. I didn't work this hard to have some Serbian take my money. Go back to being a flight attendant in the UAE, bruh.
True.
And the fact that Larry's being such a about this shit, I hate to say it like that, but he is being about this shit. That is why she felt so comfortable with the split, because she knew that she was able to maintain a majority of the lifestyle she had with him. Now she can go get some other sucker and he can get the other part. So in other words, she's double dipping. She's getting money and security from this guy here while still simultaneously being able to entertain the marketplace over here. And I'm here to tell y'all niggas, never let these double dip. Ever. Never let these double dip. I'm not Tostitos.
Fucking bitches, bro.
Out of here. Don't look like nacho chips, huh?
Nacho chips.
No thanks. Relationship ends, everything else ends alongside it. Now his problem is that he got married without a prenup.
That was stupid,
guys,
bro, from Larry. That's the part where I say he was stupid. Bro, you knew you had what you had. You could, bro. Why didn't you have a prenup, bro? That was fucking stupid. You know how women think? Come on, Larry. Bruh.
Not Red Pill aware, guys, you're gonna get cooked. And it pains me that this talentless is gonna still be able to enjoy the same lifestyle with this nigga when she wasn't. And now
I trust her. I trust her.
No, I have not.
Help you sign a prenup?
I hope you signed the prenup. No, I have not.
Help you sign a prenup?
Somebody's asking me if I signed the prenup. I'm like, I have not.
Funny, I did bring it up.
I trust her, bro.
Early on, but I decided not to go forward with that.
I trust her.
Bro.
I hope you signed the prenup. No, I have not.
I trust her, huh?
Yeah. You're basically a sheep and you are trusting a wolf, because that's what are, like her.
Bruh. So, hope you guys enjoyed the stream. It's the end of the stream. It's been, I don't have time anymore. It's unfortunate. I set up the videos the way I set up for a reason. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Don't forget to follow me on Kick. We're trying to reach 800 followers. Not only that, we're trying to get verified. So, I'd appreciate if you continue following, continue participating in the stream, watching the stream, chat, drop a sub, whatever you want to do. So, it can be one step closer towards a verification. We do stream at the same time on YouTube as well, so don't forget to sub to my YouTube channel. Trying to reach 100 subs. We're currently at 87 subscribers, so I'd appreciate if you help me hit that goal. We do post additional content on other social media, so don't forget to follow me everywhere. Enjoy all the content that I provide for you guys. A big thank you for your good for the affiliation. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Peace.